Did you cry when I found you in the night? Staying up till 5 a.m. Told me you and him were friends. Woke up in a burning home. Blame myself, I should have known. There's still no place, sealed our fate, buried in the catacombs. Setting fire to the life we made. Such a fucking waste of time. Said you love me till my heart decays. Guess my darling changed her mind. And talks my heart online. Was I blind? But too afraid to find that you changed your mind from sleepless nights. Was I part of your design? Push me till I broke alone. No one heard my heart explode. It's a suicide dive, just knew when you die and question everything you know. Setting fire to the life we made. Such a fucking waste of time. Said you love me till my heart decays. Guess my darling changed her mind. And talks my heart online. Setting fire to the life we made. Such a fucking waste of time. Said you love me till my heart decays. Guess my darling changed her mind. And talks my heart online. And darks my heart online. We keep running faster and faster. I don't know what we're after, yeah. We keep up with disaster, disaster. I'm thinking that they're after me. We're running like ooh, faster and faster. We're running like ooh, faster and faster. We keep running faster and faster. I don't know what we're after, yeah. We keep up with disaster, disaster. I'm thinking that they're after me. We're running like ooh, faster and faster. We're running like ooh, faster and faster. Was it all in vain? My world revolved around you now. It's trapped inside the pain. Maybe I should stay in the dark after you had into a place too far away. All those crazy thoughts are going through my mind. A part of me I can't escape. Our love was so sublime. It doesn't make no sense if you're not here again. The only one who's gonna be there for me to say. What comes after the end? Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/Spotify. Terms apply.
Who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' new phone, who this? Somebody get me. 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 Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' new phone, who this?
I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me away. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free.
Hey, everybody!
I live my own
Saturday
life.
night!
Fucking nerd.
It's Saturday night, and it is that particular time, and you know what time it is. It is time for the Hold My Pen Promptcast!
Yay.
Woo! We're doing a quick mic check, everybody, and then we've got some announcements. Please stay to the end because we got a big thing that we're going to be doing for the month of October. So, again, please stay to the end, not just for voting, but also to get all of our end of show announcements. Right now, we have mic checks. Can everybody hear us?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can everyone hear me clearly?
You're coming in super clear tonight on this end, and usually you're a little breaky uppy over here.
I have a new microphone.
Oh. Okay.
And
Everybody. Fuck you, Izzy.
uh-oh. What happened? What
I got that
happened?
fucking song stuck in my head now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And you know what? She's going to be sorry, not sorry about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Absolutely.
she's never sorry about getting an earworm stuck in someone's head.
Nope.
Never, ever.
That's
ever,
one of the
ever.
best.
Not even a smidgy bit. Anywho's, Has everybody's week been? We got a great show tonight. We have a fucking lineup and a half.
You think it'll be a two-part
And
weekend, or are we gonna get it all done tonight?
we should be able to get it all done tonight, but we got some heavy hitters in. And we got, look, I'm gonna let Izzy see it and say it because I want to see the look on her face. I want to see the fucking shock, and I ain't ruin it for nobody. Don't worry, Trisha. Your secret is safe with me at this moment.
Oh, it's a Trisha secret.
It's a Trisha.
I mean, I can't see Izzy at all right now, but I'm assuming that'll
Yeah.
happen.
Izzy is indisposed of getting everything ready on her end. She went live so we can get everybody out of the way. Get all the announcements and everything like that. But
I'm excited.
yeah, also everybody share this out to as many places as you possibly can. I gotta get my shares done. Excuse me. I didn't eat that.
Oh no, you tasted vintage.
I tasted stomach acid.
Ew.
Like I didn't eat
No
that.
fun.
It's probably from the Red Bull. I've been off Red Bull pretty much all week. Like I was down to one a day, and it's usually first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I didn't have any caffeine all day. I had
Uh-oh.
to when I ordered dinner in. I got 3 Red Bulls, so I had enough to get me through the show and everything like that, so I could like mine off the headache because there was definitely one starting. And it's like, look, my personality is sponsored by, or not sponsored by, should be fucking sponsored by at this goddamn point. What earworm? Everybody.
Oh, and it's a boy band earworm to boot. That is such an easy thing. Hey, I posted a picture of my hair last weekend in the mod chat on Discord. Just for you, Shar.
Yay. Why are there multiple people playing League of Legends in the writing tag? That's weird.
It does sound appropriate though.
You are not going to find viewers here, guys. You're really not.
I mean, you might.
You might find some people. You won't find the numbers you're looking for.
No.
Okay.
Scoping out who we can rate over.
Okay, where else did I need to post this?
Coffee Quills has 11 viewers, so she's alright. It's Haley has 5 viewers. They can use some help. Ooh, LGBTQ friendly writer. They're still online. Maybe them.
What are you posting our stuff and their stuff?
No, I'm just checking out who's live right now for who we can raid once we're done.
9 times out of 10, when we're done, it's Okay. Anybody else? Okay, no. I'm gonna go over to Facebook.
We gotta make sure we're raiding. You gotta keep that up.
Well, 9 times out of 10, when we get off, the only ones that are on are people who do not speak English, so rating them makes no sense. And I'm sorry, but I get yelled. I've gotten yelled at in German. That's not fun.
That's never fun.
Even when
Wasn't
they're
me.
excited, they sound like they're screaming at you.
It wasn't me. It
It
wasn't
was
me.
not you.
But that's why I'm checking ahead. I'm seeing who's on, and then if they're still on when we're done, we'll hit them. If not, we'll see. We'll see who else we can do. I'm just snooping right now.
Hey, look, it never hurts to snoop.
Right?
I mean, had I done homework on that one thing, we would not have ended up on a live that was literally somebody just left their computer running.
Exactly. Want to avoid those.
Like, you did what? So,
Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet.
hi, Jennifer.
Who?
I don't know. Somebody said something about Celtic Knot Crochet, and I'm sitting there like, well, hi, Jennifer.
Oh. I was trying to get a screenshot off a video for something I'm trying. That was.
Sorry.
It's a video on YouTube.
Nice.
Trying to do Celtic knots because.
Oh, they're hard.
I've done them before. I didn't find them incredibly hard. It's just I needed the
refresher,
the picture to refresh my brain. Yeah, refresh my brain.
But quick little FYI, we're currently the #1 video in the writing category. We're at the top.
Hey, we got a bunch of people in here. There was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember what the flip it is. And that area, I blame Izzy because now I still got that freaking song stuck in my head, and that's probably why I can't remember.
It happens.
It happens.
There's the Izzy.
There's the S.
Thank you for your patience and the late start understanding. My family had a death in the family this week, so we've kind of been a little bit off kilter. And so, in any event, they're
Dare you human?
Right? How dare I be human? So yeah,
we're supposed to be fucking rock hard freaking people, but anybody that knows knows certain things, they're like, no.
Nah, definitely not. I am fine. My youngest spawn is as good as can be expected with the passing of his father. So we're getting through the things and whatnot. So my submission was a little late, and that's why we were waiting. And I still haven't submitted it to the email like I'm supposed to. But I mean, it's mine, so
You can
whatever.
Off the fucking word processor if you need to.
I know, but I get distracted when I read it off of Scrivener. And I start wanting to change things. If it's PDF in the email, I can't do that. So
you switch over to writer mode rather than reader mode.
Yes, because I'm in that program. So there we go.
I get it.
Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of Watson that I have been watching religiously the last 2 weeks.
You know what I've recently been getting into? Elementary with Lucy Liu.
Ah, that is, I don't know. Okay, so if you've ever been in our Discord at around 10 o'clock Eastern, nope, sorry, midnight Eastern, my phone goes off and mutes me. And it goes off with the Elementary theme song telling me that I'm supposed to log my reading and get my ass to bed. So
I'm very picky when it comes to Sherlock Holmes because a lot of them don't get him right, but they do a really good job in Elementary.
They do. Now Watson, on the other hand, is about John Watson, and they reference Sherlock Holmes because Sherlock Holmes is dead. And they've made it modern. And they did make Watson a doctor in the military. So it's pretty cool. And Chestnut, Morris Chestnut is amazing. So, of course, to me, he'll always be Rosie from Rosewood. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So We covered everything. I had my headphones on the entire time, so I saw all the things. And Julie's gonna say something.
Also, you brought up the Discord, so I was bringing that around. Also new in our Discord, because I don't know if we did that last week or if that was something we did this week. I really don't know. Everything's starting to fucking blend together. But now we have breakout rooms. So if you are working with somebody else, or it's like this person understands you and your writing process and this, that, and the other, and you need to bounce ideas, so you're not being overran by the general body doubling sprints or whatever, you guys can go down to the breakout room. And it is literally, unless you are invited, you are not allowed in there. And it's an understood statement. And if it's not an understood statement, we will make it an understood statement. So we have now 3 of those, along with our body doubling and sprinting, and then of course our social channels of chilling and what the hell. Though we have not had to use what the hell this week, I think we should have just stayed in what the fucking hell this week, because of all the damn things that just literally happened one after another. It is what it is. We will do what we have to do, and we will keep on freaking trucking, because that's what we do around here. But yeah, I didn't know if we did that last week or this week, but you just wanted to throw that in
Yeah,
there.
we did it this week because Julie and I were bouncing back and forth, working on both her book and my book. And then some of our friends from the Authors Pub have recently joined. So GT Gretz and Trevor Billings were bouncing ideas off, working on an editing project that they are doing. And it was just, we were cross purposing. And it was overwhelming and, really distracting. So I was like, hey, breakout rooms, right? Julie and I went to a breakout room where we were just popping back and forth, and they went to their own breakout room. And then when we're done, or it's like, okay, I am done for the night. Let me just pop back up into chilling or back into body doubling or whatnot. And, it's like our Discord is literally
Evil.
like a building, right? Where you have all these little meeting rooms off to the side. You've got the break room, which is chilling, where you can sit around the roaring fire and just chit chat, talk shit, you know, and then you've got the meeting rooms where you're working on something specific. And if you're not invited, it's an understood statement not to come in and interrupt. And then when your meeting is done, you pop on out. It's is what it is. So, and don't forget, we've also got the Feed Me channel.
Yes.
If you're looking for a recipe, you need help, whatever. I was buttoning up or trying to button up my submission and shit, and my son comes in and goes, "Okay, I need your help with dinner," and I'm like, "And I need to get this done." And Julie was in Discord with me, and she goes, "Lex, just take me into the kitchen." So I hand Lex my phone. He goes off into the kitchen. She's helping him make dinner while I'm doing this. And then I thanked my son for feeding me and thanked Julie for feeding me, because from 7.5 hours away, she made sure that the Izzy ate. This is important.
Hey, look, the Izzy has the special, the literally the secret ingredient to my chili.
I do. And I'm not joking when I say we have been eating it all week. We finally finished the second pot off and put it into 3 containers. I froze 2 of them and I put one into the refrigerator to take with me to work. Ended up forgetting it. Lex asked me this afternoon, going, "Can I have the chili?" I'm like, "By all means." So it's like chef's kiss.
Hey, you want to
No
brag about
Izzy
how
pizzy fits.
you want to brag about how efficient this Discord is? Julie helped me repair my generator from 1,500 miles away.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
Yep, we are a full service community. This is not just, a group of people up here that, no, we are a community, and we are not just writers. We're the mom, the auntie, the uncle, the makeup tips, the clothing tips, the DIYers, the whole thing. Yep. Stavros, Julie helped her with her dryer. All right. there's a reason we call Julie our fearless leader. Okay?
Oh.
She takes care of all of us. All right. Mr. Power, are you coming up?
There ain't much I don't know how to fix, and if I don't know how to fix it, then I Google.
No uppy for Patrick.
No uppy for Patrick. Okay. So Kesh gets to stay in Patrick's spot today. Now that we're on to that, okay. Let me hit send so it's submitted.
Honestly, yes, the wonders of YouTube University, because if I don't know what I'm doing or if I can't figure it out, I literally go to YouTube and I plug it in and see what the hell is going on. And it's usually there's a bolt where I can't see it. And now I know where the bolt's at.
One of my friends, her brother, went onto YouTube to learn how to lay laminate flooring, that kind that like clicks the wood laminate together. And after he watched like 3 couple-hour long videos of it, he went to a construction site where he was helping, like it was like helping a friend who is a licensed construction worker, basically extra hands. The guy in charge thought he was trained. He did such a good job.
Shush, we don't talk about it. The amount of stuff that we and by the way, that interlock is called tongue and groove, but it's a laminate tongue and groove. But yeah, you got to know exactly how to lay it, exactly which way to push it to make sure everything pops. I learned how to rebuild houses and framing off of YouTube, and it was just because I couldn't remember how far the joists had to be apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a video, and after, I don't know, 4 hours of watching this dude build the house and explain it all the way through framing, I'm like, I got this shit. And went and built an entire porch, complete with roof and hide a spot.
Mm-hmm.
So we could get underneath the porch to access the water lines.
All right. All the stuff handled. We've already been live for an hour, but life happens. We are so laid back and chill. So it looks like what up first is Trisha, and a bunch of people are yapping about the things.
Yeah.
So we've added something to the stream, and I want to make sure that it pops up. Nope, I may have to hit transition. There it is.
At the follower goal?
Nope.
Or was that?
It should pop up here.
Yeah, give it a couple seconds.
Because the live feed.
There's
oh,
delay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's so cool.
that's awesome.
There we go. All right. So up first, Ms. Trisha Jones, first prompter. And I see that Trisha Jones has tripled her normal word count. Way to go, my dear. Good job.
Nice.
So she's got 3 times the chances to rip our hearts out with how sweet or how it is. All right, here we go. This is a mistake, I said, pacing. It was never supposed to go this far. I sat down at my desk and stared at the screen. I was told I should do this because I have a great imagination, but I knew it wasn't good enough. This all started when we were given the assignment in creative writing. We were supposed to write a short story from a monster's point of view. I did not think much about it because I didn't care if I passed this class. I took it just to fill an empty place in my schedule. I really didn't need that class. She gave us a week to write the short story. "Hey, Marie," Adam called as he caught up with me after class. "What monster's point of view are you going to do?" "I don't know," I answered. "Maybe like a werewolf or something like that." "That would be cool," he responded. "I'm thinking about doing it from a vampire's point of view." I just nodded. Not long after, I was at my next class, and Adam had to run to make it to his next class. The rest of the day, I was only half paying attention to my teachers. I was thinking about the writing assignment from creative writing. At the end of the day, I walked home carrying the books I needed to get my homework done over the weekend. No one was home when I got there. I put my stuff in my room before going to get a snack in the kitchen. I went back to my room and started my homework. I started with math, but I couldn't concentrate on the numbers. After the 10th time trying to figure out one problem, I decided to write my short story. I started writing it from a werewolf's point of view, but it didn't work. I decided to write from them in their human forms. After a long few moments, I decided I would write from a woman who was attacked and was turned into a werewolf. I was so engrossed in the story, I did not hear my mom and dad come home. Mom tapped on my door frame. "It's time for dinner." "Okay, Mom." I got up and went down to the kitchen where my parents and siblings sat at the kitchen table. I ate, deep in thought about the short story, while my family talked about their days. After a while, they all went quiet. I was startled when I realized they were all looking at me. "What?" I asked, swallowing the food I had in my mouth. "Is everything okay?" my mom asked. "You have been awfully quiet this evening." "Oh, yeah, I'm fine," I answered. "Just thinking about the homework assignment from the creative writing class I'm taking." "Are you sure you're all right?" Dad asked, concerned. "Yes, I'm fine. Honest, I'm just wanting to get the assignment done." "Okay," Dad said, not sounding convinced. I looked at Mom. "May I be excused? I really want to get my homework done so I don't need to worry about it all weekend." "Yes, you may," she answered, "as long as you are sure you are okay." "I am, I promise," I said, putting my dishes in the sink before heading back up to my room. Once in my room, I sat back down at my computer and continued writing. Once I hit a spot I felt was a good stopping point for the short story, I printed it out and put it in the folder for that class. Then I finally convinced my brain to work on my other homework. I easily got them done. I was putting everything in my backpack when an idea for the story popped into my head. I opened the short story file on my computer and continued writing on the story. This wasn't for the class. This was just for me. I spent most of the weekend writing. Mom had to remind me to eat. While taking breaks for food, I would tell Mom about the story. She was always interested in my creative stuff I did. Dad, he would just say, "That's nice," and continue on with whatever he was doing. By Sunday night, I had over 30,000 words written on that story. Monday, I turned in the assignment like everyone else in class. I was so nervous about what the teacher thought and what grade I would get. I was proud of that story. So when I got it back with a D, I was shocked.
Rude.
She had to talk to each of us about the story we wrote in front of the whole class. When it was my turn, she told me, "No one wants to hear about the day-to-day life of the human part. Everyone wants the monster being a monster." "But, ma'am, there is more to a werewolf than blood and carnage. There is a human element to werewolves," I argued. "And that is why you would never make it as an author."
I beg
With
your
that,
kindest, Dan Parton.
right? With that,
Just
she
fight
moved
for it.
on to the next student. I sat at my desk almost in tears because I truly thought it was a good story. The rest of the day went by at a snail's pace. At lunch, Adam and a few classmates found me sitting alone. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked, sitting next to me. "I guess," I answered. I was really proud of my story and thought I did a good job. "Can I read it?" Adam asked. I handed him my story. He took it and started reading. The other classmates huddled around him, reading it over his shoulders. It seemed forever before he finished. Is there more? He asked. Why? I asked. You can't end it like that, one of the other classmates said. Yeah, there's more, but it's not finished, I responded. I'm not sure if I will finish it. Oh my God, you have to finish it, Adam said. Why? I asked. Look at the grade on that paper. The teacher is right. It's bad. No, it's not. The teacher doesn't know anything about modern writing or books, the other classmate said. This story is amazing. I bet you could get it published and make a lot of money. Please finish it, Adam pleaded. I'll think about it, I answered. Every day for weeks, Adam would ask if the story was done yet. Of course, a lot of the time the answer was no, but one day it was yes, and I handed him the printout. What's the faded writing? Adam asked. It's a watermark, and it says it belongs to me, I answered. My dad insisted on it before he would let me print it out. Oh, okay. I guess it's smart, he said. Yeah, please tell me the truth when you get done, I said. If it's bad, please tell me. I will tell you the truth about what I think about it, I promise, he said. The next few days was pure torture for me, waiting to hear what Adam thought. When he was done, we met up at lunch. I sat down across from him. Well? It's really good, he said. It just needs some work with spelling and all that. I figured. I have never been good at that stuff, I said as he slid it over to me. I hope you don't mind. I marked where I saw some stuff that needed help, he said, taking a bite of his lunch. That's fine. I will take all the help I can get, I said. Are you going to publish it? Adam asked. I don't know, I sighed. I'm not sure how to go about it. I don't know about getting it published like famous authors do, but you could self-publish, he said. The English teacher I had last year self-published a book. I guess I will at least look into it, I answered. When I got home from school, I made sure all my homework was done. I corrected everything Adam found that needed to be fixed. Then I edited it as many times as I could before I took it to my mom to see what she thought of it. Of course, she loved it and encouraged me to keep writing. When I asked if she thought I could self-publish it, she got so excited and offered to help me set up a bank account for whatever money I make, which we did the next day. Then I designed a cover and did the little blurb on the back. I found out I could self-publish through an online book selling site. So I set everything up and uploaded everything I needed to upload. Which brings us back to where this started. This is a mistake, I said, pacing. It was never supposed to go this far. It was just a silly story. But I got brave and hit the publish button before I chickened out. I can't believe I am doing this, I said as I dived into my bed.
Which is what every fucking first-time author says to themselves as soon as we hit the fucking button and panic.
I'm not gonna lie, I full on started tearing up at a couple moments of that because that hit way too close to home multiple times.
Way too close to home.
Oh my God.
The amount of times I was told I was fucking stupid for doing what the hell I do.
The fucking teacher telling you that what you gave them is terrible, and just
That's the best way to like break someone's dreams. Like they
You
could
know
just
what?
be a late bloomer.
Well, here's the funny thing. I was told this by a teacher. And not long after Destin was out, and not long after Destin had sold 500 copies in 1 month, I ran into said teacher at Walmart. And it was while I was dealing with everything with mom. So she asked me, hey, I heard your mom was in the hospital, really sorry to hear that. Um, how are you doing? What did you do with your life? And I said, you remember how you told me in English class that I was just wasting my time and I needed to concentrate on more academic things to actually, do something with my life? She was like, well, yeah. And I said, I'm a published author now. And by the way, that book has sold over 600 copies. And then I said, thanks for being the first person to encourage me in a negative way. And then I walked away and got my coffee out of the refrigerated section. But
Man, I've been saying spite is a
and her name
fantastic
was Miss
motivator.
Oliver. Miss Beth Oliver.
Spite's a wonderful motivator.
It is. Most of my characters thrive on it. But Trisha,
That was awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome. That
close to home there, Toots, though.
Like I put in the side chat, that was the perfect short story. You know what, Trisha? Polish that. Polish that. Get it fixed up. Make it a little pamphlet kind of thing that you give out for free at all your freaking events you do, lady. You know, encourage that next writer
Or artist or singer
or artist or singer. Yeah.
And if you have the ability, a lot of high schools, especially during the second half of the year after Christmas, they want people to come in and talk to the seniors and juniors about what they do and stuff like that. Reach out to the local high schools. Reach out to the local elementary schools and see if you can't do some sort of speaking event. Because you got stuff to say, we're looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely freaking lootly.
Okay, now that Trisha's either, I don't know, enraged, validated, I'm not exactly sure where we feel on this one.
well, we're also in the middle of an ad break.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel validated, but I also feel very like
Angry that teachers do that.
yes.
And here's the crazy thing. Like earlier today, I was looking for somebody from grade school. And so I pulled up Facebook and I was looking at my old grade school and whatnot, and I saw pictures of my old 6th grade English teacher. From as little as 2 years ago. I'm like, "Oh my god, he's still alive." You know, and it just brought to mind, I'm sitting here going, Mrs. Worth taught me to read before a year before she was my kindergarten teacher. And then Mr. Wickman in 6th grade taught me how to diagram a fucking sentence and to watch my grammar and everything. And yeah, I kind of was teacher's pet, or at least that's what the other kids labeled me. And I was called the grammar police, although they used the other word. But we're just going to go with grammar police. And then Mrs. Hebel in Honors English 9 taught me the love of classics. Great Expectations is my favorite classic book of all time. And then the following year, Miss Holtzlander, she didn't call them tropes, but she was talking about themes within different books and stories and myths. And it's all culminated into this with all these, freaking story ideas and actually going for it. And then Trisha pops off with this amazing thing where you've got the teachers being the exact opposite of what my teachers were in school, and it's just like, yep, those assholes exist, but there's also really great teachers. And if you didn't have one of those teachers that encouraged you, we are. All right. This group, this community, we're the teachers who are telling you that you can do it. All right. All love.
Right
I
on.
stopped
Okay.
theater because I had a teacher tell me, after I had a teacher encouraging me, I had a teacher tell me that I couldn't do it, and it crushed me.
I was never told I couldn't. Mine were just indifferent and didn't care.
That's fair. Well, let's see what Kesh Butler comes up with now next. As you can see across the bottom of your screen, the current story that we are going to be reading by Kesh Butler. Oh, Jesus Christ!
It's not a lot.
A pronunciation guide.
It's only 3 things.
Make her read it.
I know. I mean, only if she wants to.
I want to hear Izzy struggle through it.
Oh, thanks. Okay. You know what? I got an idea how to do this.
Uh-oh.
You putting it up on the big screens?
Highlighted.
Putting the pronunciation guide. Well, because as soon on the iPad, as soon as I click on the document to read, whatever is in the email, I can no longer see. So, there we go. It's over there. The bargain. Somewhere in Afghanistan, approximately mid 2002. I don't want to talk about that. I don't think Kane does either, but I digress. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still soaked when Audra stepped into the abandoned mine shaft for the first time. She was still partially unsure why she had been sent here by the King of Death to try and convince her grandson to defect from the human military he served, becoming loyal to him instead. The mine had originally been a source for lapis lazuli, the blue semi-precious gems having essentially dried up for the miners, forcing them to either choose to move on or sift through the dirt on the ground for the smallest specks of the mineral. They had chose the former, leaving the mine to its fate at the hands of time. This is a mistake, Fedrin growled, pacing along the wall of the cavern as they waited for his second-in-command, Toon, to return from his scouting mission in the mountains above. We were never supposed to range this far. He had grown grumpy at her insistence they continue to push forward in the search for the oldest of the 2 pups her son had sired on his human wife. Why do you always jump to the worst possible conclusion? She asked, her irritation evident. Can you just trust me for once? Audra shot back at him, frustrated by his henpecking about what the King of Death wanted or didn't want. As it was, the werewolf leader was lucky that she had accepted him into her bed. Being one of the tainted, she wasn't supposed to have desires of her own. But having willingly defected, she had much more free range to do their king's bidding, and His Majesty allowed her to have interests outside being one of his many servants. Shh! Her hand shot up, motioning for him to be silent so she could hear the sounds filtering from the other part of the cave system. It's probably just Toon finally returning. Fedrin ignored the gesture, continuing to speak despite her protests. I hear multiple voices. I think we may have finally found him and the group he leads. She shushed him again, trying to concentrate on what she could hear. He kept himself quiet, waiting for her to decide on their next move. I think we should capture one of the men under his command. If he's anything like his father, he will come looking to retrieve the man and be willing to sacrifice himself. She spoke aloud, more thinking through the idea than asking Fedrin for his opinion. When Toon returns, I want to enact that plan, Audra finished, looking over her shoulder at the werewolf. He sat on his haunches, admiring her and her intellect, realizing why she had been made one of the King of Death's lead advisors and head of his army of dead things. Audra, love, why do you want to bring him into the tainted? Wouldn't it be much better just leaving him to his fate here in the human world? He stood, pushing his head under her arm, forcing her to stroke the line of fur that ran down his neck and back, the involuntary reaction to her touch causing him to shake his head to flatten the hairs that had stood on end. He knows things no one in Etlan knows, things that could bring our forces to a more advantageous position in the war. What those things are, I do not know, but I trust His Majesty. She tilted her head to the side as she continued to listen to the conversation going on higher up in the cave. I think I know the one I need to capture and interrogate, she smirked as she walked away from Fedrin. With a roar, the helicopter descended, ready to fly him and his squad to safety. The Taliban fighters were bearing down on them, making it dangerous to continue their munitions work in the minefields outside Kabul. Fallon the Younger, known as Lieutenant Frank O'Banion Jr. in the human world, was watching his men boarding the Black Hawk, making sure there was no man under his command being left behind. As the bird touched down, allowing everyone to climb aboard, he counted. Every man was accounted for, except for one. Harrison, the private under his care that always seemed to be doing anything but what he was supposed to be doing. Fallon swore, signaling the helicopter's pilot to leave and get the squad out. He knew he needed to at least attempt to find the man. He ran back to the caves where they had been sheltering to begin his search. It would be at least 20 minutes before the chopper was back to pick him up, if it came back at all. His stomach began to growl angrily as the spell he used to conceal his ears from being seen consumed the proteins in his body. It was one of the few spells he had learned from his grandfather, Lord Udrin, while he had been staying with him in the elven capital in Netlan shortly after his father's disappearance. Taking care of both him and his baby sister had been too much for his mother once she was alone and grieving. Fallon backtracked as best he could, avoiding enemy eyes by using his elven ability to become almost unseen unless he wanted to be. Scaling the side of a cliff, he took the risk of getting to higher ground to see the area around him. Glancing at his watch, he noted the elapse of time, and then continued looking around the territory around him. He noted where enemy nests were located, found the cave where his squad had been laying low while waiting for retrieval, and began sprinting toward the hiding spot. He let go of the spell concealing his ears and instead cast a different spell to obfuscate his entire body, making it harder for any insurgents with an AK-47 who might be feeling lucky to find him. When Fallon finally reached the overhang sitting atop the entrance to the cave, he swung down from the ledge, landing in the middle of the open space. Cautiously, he walked in, pulling his rifle to the ready while casting a new spell to help him be more aware of what surrounded him. He stopped when he heard a voice, a man's, possibly Harrison. He tilted his head in the general direction, listening and reaching out with the magic, fighting the exhaustion and hunger pains, trying to figure out how far ahead and which direction it had come from. He then heard a second voice, a woman's. Pausing to listen, he heard the tone in her voice, disgust. The man replied, it was Harrison, and he sounded like he was scared shitless. Fallon made his way through the cavern, following the sounds as the two seemed to be arguing. He wondered how Harrison had been captured. Tell me where your leader is! The woman's voice carried more clearly, the words dripping with a familiar accent. Fallon stopped as he registered what he heard. I don't know where he is. I would take you if I did. Harrison's voice shook with fear. You will tell me where Frank O'Bannon is, or I will break your neck, Umine. Umine. Etlani for human. The mention of his name and the word raised the hairs on the back of his neck. If you want to speak with Frank O'Bannon, you're too late. He's dead. He revealed himself while speaking in Etlani. There was no sense in hiding who he was now. Looking the woman over and trying to assess the level of threat she was, a faint hint of recognition tugged on his mind. Her face had black-colored veins running up into her hairline and down her neck, an unhealed wound in the nexus where the lines originated. I know exactly where Fallon the Elder is. It's Fallon the Younger I seek. She turned and looked at him, her eyes white and devoid of any color around the pupils. Dark, unruly hair hung around her narrow face, the gentle points on her ears, the only real thing to indicate she was an elf. Is he the one who stands before me? She moved her hand, revealing a second wound, black veins radiating out of the sore on its back. Harrison, are you okay? Fallon switched back to English, motioning with his head for him to move to the rear. Yes, sir, Lieutenant. The man scrambled, leaving the pieces of his M16 next to where he had been. How the fuck did you get yourself into this situation, Private? Fallon glanced at him and back at the eerie woman. He wasn't able to get any words out. I captured him and began to interrogate him. I wanted to find Fallon the Younger. She took a few steps, looking past him to where Harrison stood, and then back at Fallon. And yes, I am Fallon the Younger. He made sure that the other man was at least physically okay. I thought so. You look so much like him, but I also see your mother in you, too. She sneered the word as if it were something unpleasant. I take it you knew my parents. He continued to watch her as she began to pace like a trapped animal at the zoo. You could say that. She almost sounded as if she was trying to be intentionally vague. Oh, I'd really like to know who's asking. He looked at her suspiciously, knowing he was seeing one of the King of Death's tainted. Of course. She walked over, coming within a foot of where he stood. Her fetid breath filled his nostrils with death and decay. My name is Audra. She turned around, walking back to her original spot, looking back at him as she did. Funny. That was my grandmother's name. He locked eyes with her, certain he now knew exactly who she was. Well, what a coincidence. I have a grandson named Fallon. Mostly he goes by Frank or Junior, though. It depends on the company he keeps at the time. The mocking smile she gave revealed her blackened gums and yellowed, neglected teeth. Yeah, that is quite the coincidence. But what are the odds you being here is an accident? I'm sure that you're here for a purpose. Taking a step closer, he popped the snap that secured his sidearm in its holster, knowing she would turn his rifle into slag the second he leveled it toward her. My master has an offer for you, and I hope that you don't refuse. I would hate to have to kill my grandson the way I had to kill my son, she admitted, confirming something he, his mother, and sister had assumed for a long time. Harrison, get yourself to the pickup point. The helicopter will take you back to base. If I'm not there by the time they come for you, assume that I'm KIA. Fallon risked a glance, noting that Harrison had been silently sitting in shock, watching the exchange between his XO and the strange woman. Lieutenant O'Bannon, You always listen to our motto, no man left behind. Harrison stuttered, trying to remind him of the responsibility he had taken on when he had taken leadership of the squad. That's an order, Private. Don't disobey any more orders. He took a stern tone, trying to get the man to follow direction for once. Harrison didn't move, seeming to be stuck in the spot where he stood. I said that's an order, Private. Fallon barked the command out, looking back to the woman claiming to be his grandmother. She leaned against the wall of the cave, patiently waiting with her arms crossed over her chest. Yes, Lieutenant, Harrison stuttered, backing away from the entrance to the cavern. He turned, disappearing in the direction that Fallon had come from. He hoped that he made it to the pickup point. Once Harrison was gone, he shifted his attention back to Audra, noting that a large black wolf with a white mark on its shoulder had seemingly appeared from nowhere. The wolf leaned against her as she gently massaged the creature behind the ears, the stump of its tail moving slowly side to side. What morsel do we have here, Audra, love? It spoke, surprising Fallon. He stood on his hind feet, revealing that his front paws were articulated hands. The wolf flexed his fingers and took a step forward, making it so that Fallon was within arm's reach. I will not allow either of them to hurt you, Fallon, Audra spoke, placing her hand in the center of the wolf's chest. In confusion, he looked to his right, seeing another of the wolf creatures standing just feet from his 5 o'clock. Fedrin, my love. This is him, the one His Majesty asked me to approach with his offer. My grandson, Fallon the Younger. She walked around, her hand still on the wolf's chest. Is he now? Fedrin responded, growling to the other wolf, who went down on all fours, still sniffing and baring its teeth at him. They will take us to His Majesty. I have so many things to show you, and I think you will find them both marvelous and terrifying. She took her hand back, moving slowly toward Fallon. The one thing you must do, if you want me to show you those things and the power they can give you, is that you must willingly take the king's blood. Fallon remembered the stories his grandfather had told him while he had lived with him in Etlan as a youth. The king of death had come out of nowhere in the great northern mountains, nearly wiping out the dwarves and nymphs among other races that had called the range home. He had also been taught about the black blood and the tainted, those who had become infected, becoming servants of the malignant ruler of the Deadlands. The final thing he remembered was a story of how Audra had freely left being an advisor and general for King Veron to serve the king of death. Now, here she was standing before him, asking him to do as she had. What if I refuse? He asked her, cautiously keeping an eye on the wolf pacing to his side. Well, then you can't have that pretty little thing you've had your eye on since your mother took her in. His Majesty has a very special interest in that one. He is willing to give her to you as a reward for your service. He knew exactly who she was referring to. Suki. Audra's eyelids were partially closed as she waited for his reaction, while Fedrin walked up and pushed his muzzle under her arm, wanting her to massage his ear again. She obliged, her eyes never moving away. I'm waiting for your answer. The tone in her voice said she knew she had said the right thing. She had his attention. The redhead his mother had fostered had become a sore spot between him and his family. All he wanted was for Suki to return the passion he felt for her. Fallon felt the lust for the girl raising up in him, something he had pushed down once he had left for basic and entered officer school. Once he had been deployed, he did everything he could to not think about her. Okay. His answer was brief, but there didn't need to be any further explanation. If Fallon got what he wanted, it would be a good deal for him. Fallon gave her his hand, facing it palm up as she had asked. Very well, give me your hand. She extended hers, waiting for him to follow her direction. Fallon gave her his hand, facing it palm up as she had asked. His head moved, looking at her, then at Fedrin, who was standing on two legs again, watching. No, waiting. Once the process starts, there is no stopping it. Once the infection enters your veins, the fire will start. Do not push back. Embrace it. His Majesty will give you power beyond your wildest dreams. Audra's voice became low as she lifted her foot, pulling a hidden dagger from her boot. She placed it against the skin of his hand and pulled. He flinched as the blade made its way across his palm, his own blood rising up from under the broken skin. If your promise to me that I can have her is real, then I won't fight it. Fallon looked up from the sight of his blood to his grandmother, who smiled in satisfaction. My promise is real. You have my assurance, as His Majesty's chief advisor in general, that she will be yours once he has been able to get what he wants. She pricked the tip of her finger, a single drop of the black blood seeming to crawl out from the puncture like an animal leaving its den. The infected blood entered his body through the opening, the fire radiating from his hand past his wrist and up his arm, quickly and painfully taking his body and turning it into one of many vessels for the being trying to take over all of existence. Fallon fell to his knees as he screamed in pain, the searing heat lighting every nerve in his body like the flame of a candle. You didn't tell me he would be in my head. He grimaced as the presence began to press on his consciousness. Instinctively, he pushed back. Do not fight it, Fallon. You will not survive the transformation with your mind if you do. Allow him into your mind, and you shall have what is rightfully yours. Audra took his face into her hands, looking at him like he imagined a grandmother would. His breathing was ragged as he fought the urge to fight, imagining his mind having a door which he opened, allowing the King of Death to enter. The Master's presence gave a gratified smile as Fallon accepted him as part of himself. Very good, Fallon. You are now one of my commanders, and I have a very special job for you. The voice filled his mind. He assumed it was the King of Death as the sound instantly quenched the hunger consuming and transforming his body. He sighed in relief as the pain disappeared, becoming a faint ache throughout his extremities. Yes, Your Majesty, he replied to the voice in his head, not wanting the pain to return again. Good. You will serve me well. Your skills will be utilized much better than they are with the humans. I promise you this. Once I have what I want from the dragon heir, she will be yours to do with as you will. The voice reiterated what Audra had promised. He looked down at his hand, the infected one, noting the intricate patterns of the black veins that covered it. The tendrils wrapped around his wrist and up his arm, his hand and forearm now mostly black from the infection spread through his system. The space between the coils of blackened blood, the only remainder of the now grayish white tone of his skin. Fallon looked at Audra, then around the cave, his eyes wide as though he was seeing the world for the first time. He examined his hand that remained untainted, the change in the pigmentation more apparent than under the flecks of freckles going along the top of his arm. A small part of him was horrified at what had happened to him, but that part was drowned out by the part that was focused on the prize he would receive for his talents. Movement of the black filaments climbing his arm began to pulse and move, the patterns following the lines of his muscles and then going their own ways. They do that. You'll get used to it over time. Audra finally broke her silence. You feel the ones on your face move? He met her stare, watching the mark on her cheek moving in the same rhythm as his own. As a matter of fact, yes, but I rarely notice it anymore. For me, when I do feel it, it has become a comfort, a sign that His Majesty is with me when I am sent on missions. Her hand touched the spot on her face, and then the one on the back of her hand. I think you will one day come to find that comfort yourself, Fallon. But for now, we need to leave. It would not bode well for this world's humans to come across us right now. She leaned into Fedrin as she spoke, smiling as he murmured something to her about the coming full moon after she had shifted her attention. Audra giggled like a schoolgirl with a crush at what the wolf had said. Let's move. I cannot account for the safety of any human who might find us. Fedrin finally spoke loud enough for everyone to hear as he began to walk deeper into the cave's root-like system. Let us go, then. We have things that must be attended to, now that you are among the tainted. She followed Fedrin into the darkness, leaving Fallon with the other wolf, while he briefly considered whether or not to ditch his gear. He decided against it, following the others, unsure of where exactly they were heading.
Wait, Cash.
Ma'am.
Yes.
I know you're trying to make the wolf, the talking wolf, to intimidating and scary. And when he went up on his hind legs and had hands, he very much was. But the instant you said he had a stubby tail, all I could picture was Roddy Butt going like this. And I just.
Or a pug.
Or a pug, or a corgi, just like the butt, just the fluff butt. That's all I could see. But
Remember
then he
this
stood up.
story?
Then
A
he stood up, and I was
couple,
like, "Oh, that's not cute anymore. That's not cute anymore."
yeah. So that's kind of it's the same wolf that was in the one like the hunt one like 6-ish months ago.
Yes, and I remember that. And if I remember this character, I did not think he had that. What's the word I'm looking for here? Words are hard right now, and I'm mad.
Words are already hard when you're not mad.
Words are already hard when I'm not mad, but I'm mad. I almost want to go with how fucking dare he, and hope.
Which he?
Honestly,
the werewolf.
No.
Yeah.
But his freaking name, Fallon.
The grandson.
Grandson.
Fallon the younger.
Yes. Like, how fucking dare he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand we're not through the story yet. We don't know what's coming up. He could redeem himself. But honestly, I want to take a fucking wiffle ball bat to his ass. And I don't care what the fuck happens after that.
Please do. He's not the good guy.
I mean, I will say this. It was a little bit difficult because of how flowy the language is to distinguish which dialogue belonged to who. So I wasn't able to adjust my voice like on time. But that happens, in
editing
and whatnot. And yeah, the gist of the story came through, and I'm sitting here going, I really hate some of these characters. Like, I love that they're bad, but
No,
I
I
hate
honestly
them.
thought something was gonna come. It's like I held out fucking hope that it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna do this, and really I just need her to get fucking close enough for me to, like, give her a freaking Irish smile. But that's what I was waiting on, and no, that's not what I fucking got. And I mean, be proud of that, Cash. Like, I'm upset, but it's like, be proud of that.
I mean, obviously, we haven't, like Julie said, we haven't seen the full story, right? We're getting bits and pieces as you're writing, filling in what you had previously written, and making it expanded and making sense. But I'm sitting here going, okay, Harrison said that Frank always was like, no man left behind, right? No man left behind. He took charge. He was apparently very respected by his troop. What would make him turn to the dark side that quickly? I mean, I get he's obsessed with Suki, but like something else. So if there's other information about what kind of person Frank is, that would make that quick shift make sense. And I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for that to go, okay, why did this guy shift so quick?
Well, I
And
mean,
so
obviously,
interesting.
he makes mention of the dad. Like, obviously, the dad didn't take the same damn deal. So what was offered to the dad, thinking logically, what was offered to the dad? And
Right.
that the dad was still standing on frickin' principle of, no, I'm not going to frickin' do this. And then he ended up dying.
I'm still just the Roddy butt is still in my head. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to lock it in. I'm trying to be serious face. I'm just picturing a giant werewolf with a Roddy butt. And
I love it. Unintended
tail,
consequence.
man.
I love it.
We broke Shark. That's how that works. We broke Shark.
I'm
We didn't
listening to
break
the
Shark.
conversation.
Kesh broke Shark.
I'm locked in the conversation and I'm agreeing. It's all great points, and I'm nodding along. But in the back of my head, it's just Roddy butt wiggles. That's all. It's just
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
it's in the back of my head.
You do realize that's probably going to end up being a meme now that we're going to have to put is the wiggle.
I'm going to have to include that in my own werewolf story at one point. I'm going to have to include that in my own story. I'm going to have to give one of the werewolves a stubby tail. He's going to have broken his coccyx and have a fucked up tail.
All right. Next up. Oh, shit. Let me get back on camera. There he is.
Maybe I should just hide back here.
Yeah. I need to take a quick break.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie.
There's
And
a
we
Dr.
are.
Pepper Day.
Yes, there is a Dr. Pepper Day. I don't know what it is because I have enough dates and numbers flying through my head. It
October 24th.
October 24th? Well, I will never forget it now because that's the day after one of my spawn's birthdays. Okay, I've got context. All right. And folks, as you can see across the bottom of your screen, next up is our fearless leader, one Julie DeFisher, with additional work in cuts and cufflinks. And I want y'all to appreciate the ringer that I have put this woman through this week. Getting her character motivations and their behaviors and the who is where when, you know, the old joke, who's on first. So, up next is Dangerous Games. Tuesday, 3:35 p.m., Cassian Locke's private office, downtown Nashville. The day had started like any other. Controlled chaos, deals closing, lawyers buzzing, contracts arriving with ribboned promises and bloody loopholes. None of which concerned Cassian the same way the blacked-out Chevelle had. It had been 3 days since the Nashville transport job, and every straight-piped muscle car he heard had him questioning if it was Reckoner taunting him. Logically, Cassian knew she didn't stick around after the drop. It wasn't her style. Sightings also had her back on the highway, heading south mere minutes after leaving the parking garage. He'd been grasping at straws for days, snapping and snarling at anyone who passed through the glass doors, to the point only Bishop, Rourke, or Crow was brave enough to hand off files from the various secretaries. Everyone acknowledged something, somewhere, had to give. Cassian sent his best to scour for any sign of her, whether that be digitally or wheels burning up pavement. If any whisper of Reckoner surfaced, he'd know about it within the hour. He had even debated on putting a bounty out on her, but figured that wouldn't give the desired result. He didn't want someone else hunting his ghost, or, better yet, finding her before he could. When he caught her, it would be dead to rights, and no one could say he didn't earn it. Unfortunately, Reckoner hadn't left so much as a crumb to follow, and all his staff was currently paying the price. Bishop willingly sacrificed himself to give the rest of the team a much-needed break from Cassian's wrath. As he walked in with the quarterly reports for both Locke Industries and L. Bishop Holdings, Cassian barely acknowledged his presence. Settling into the seat across from Cassian, Bishop witnessed the physical toll this was taking on him. Bags under his eyes, shirt slightly wrinkled, and the smell of aftershave covering up what he could only imagine was body odor. To those that didn't know the situation, Cassian looked like a workaholic, not a half-crazed man trying to locate a puzzle piece. Problem, Bishop. When was the last time you left this room? Mind your damn business. My job is to mind yours, which is becoming increasingly hostile around here. Might want to work on that. Bishop kept his tone even. Not that he didn't want to scream, it just wouldn't be productive. Bishop sighed, opened the folder, and started with the financial report. Creed's familiar chime came through on the secure tablet. Cassian barely looked up until his eyes caught phantom rides. All of the air hastily escaped his lungs, his fingers fumbling to open the file. Phantom rides. Target is confirmed to be connected to Garrick Nolan and Jet Vix. The driver matches prior movement logs for Reckoner. Confirmed ties to Rust Creek, Iron Vultures MC. Real name, unknown at this time. Nickname, Riot. Cassian stood with his back to the room, fingers steepled beneath his chin, eyes locked on the blurred skyline. Bishop was rattling off data like a man reciting a eulogy, refusing to concede to the change he'd seen. Bishop could have told him where there were farms in the Middle East producing gold pig's feet, and he'd have nodded along. He wasn't listening. All sound fell away as he imagined the woman. Riot seemed appropriate for someone who could ensure one with just a flick of the throttle. He'd seen the way she could handle herself on the track, the way nothing stood in her way when it came to the finish line, but he'd also seen the other side of that steel when she saved his life. Zero would never have had the ability to line up on her a second time had she not pulled him from that burning car. Now, he had a name to anchor the myth, even if it was just a nickname. She was real, flesh and bone. Sir? Bishop cleared his throat to bring Cassian out of his daze. Cassian turned slowly. Find out who's protecting her. I want the full chain. Handlers, allies, backup drivers, everything. Start with Nolan and Vix. Work outward. Look in the Iron Vultures MC. Bishop nodded, disappearing out of the office. Cassian moved to his desk, unlocked the bottom drawer, and pulled out a matte black folder. Inside was a dossier nearly 4 years old. Reckoner's file. Thin and frustratingly incomplete until now. He added one word to the top in clean, dark ink. Riot. He reached for his phone. No assistance, no filters. He punched in a number from memory, not business, personal. The line picked up with a dry, clipped, "What?" Cassian didn't waste breath. "She's real." A beat. "You're sure?" the voice asked. "I saw her. Well, I saw the car, but Creed confirmed." And? Cassian let silence speak for him, then said, "I need a meeting with Nolan and Vix. Tonight. No excuses." "Where?" "The pit." A low whistle. "You're walking into their bar now? Are you brain dead? They'll eat you alive." Cassian's tone dropped like a hammer. "She's not running anymore. I'm done chasing ghosts. Either they'll tell me where she is, or I'll use my own persuasion." "Do you honestly think Nolan or Vix will give her up? You might be just setting off a powder keg." "I'm not afraid to burn. I'll be leaving the office at 5. You have until then to get me face to face. You want fries with that? I'll send you the address." "8:05 p.m. The Pit, Memphis." The Pit wasn't a bar in the middle of the week. It was a confession booth with better lighting and worse secrets. Drenched in sweat, whiskey, and the kind of pain that made men lie to themselves and women half-ass believe them, Tuesday nights were mostly steelworkers over the rowdy bikers that dominated the weekend crowds. Though tonight, there were several patched members and prospects from various clubs sitting at the bar. Riot wasn't on shift. She'd just dropped the Chevelle off at the garage from the cool down out at the cabin. She never left the beast sitting too long in one location, which made it harder for anyone to fuck with her ride before a race. A shell game Tank taught her, and she'd perfected over the years. She'd been a couple of blocks from the pit when she decided a nightcap sounded like just the ticket to cure her sleepless nights. If she had one too many, she could drag her ass upstairs and pass out. Something had to give, and alcohol seemed like a good place to start. Walking in through the back, her boots thudded against worn wood. She slipped onto a bar stool. She didn't bother asking. The bartender, Tula, poured her usual, sliding it over with a familiar smile. Riot thought about shooting her shot with her tonight, scratching an itch that had gnawed at her for days. But it was going to take a lot more than one double of Jack to loosen her tongue. She barely took her first sip, letting her mind wander for the briefest of moments before the front door opened with a different kind of swagger. Cassian Locke. He wasn't dressed for this place, but didn't quite look like a sore toe in a crowded elevator either. Custom suit, military stance, arrogant mouth. The kind of man you noticed because he didn't care if you noticed him or not. He wouldn't have been an unwelcome sight if Riot didn't know why he was there. Cassian didn't see her sitting at the bar, but Riot got a full view. The pictures Jet had dug up did no justice to the man who stood in the doorway scanning the bar. She leaned back slowly, swirling her drink, eyes narrowing just slightly. Riot wasn't in the habit of giving up her position, but she couldn't be sure of how much he actually knew that led him here. So, this was the man chasing Reckoner's ghost. She didn't move, didn't smirk, just watched as he walked up to Garrick Nolan's table, who looked mildly irritated but not surprised, and took a seat. Cassian said something low and clipped. Riot shifted just enough to hear. Cassian's voice was sharp steel under velvet. I want to know who your driver is, the one who runs by Reckoner. Garrick Nolan didn't flinch when Cassian Locke stepped into his space. Instead, he raised a brow, leaned back in his chair, and folded his arms like a man who dealt with sharks before and didn't care if one tried to bite. You lost, Garrick said, voice flat, refusing to acknowledge his question or demands. Cassian's eyes didn't blink. Not anymore. He slid folded printouts onto the table, grainy footage from a street cam, time-stamped from 3 nights ago, of a black blur, lines of a muscle car, flash of chrome, and taillights vanishing into darkness. Reckoner, Cassian said. I've bet against her dozens of times. Lost more money than I care to admit. I want a name. Garrick didn't touch the paper. That footage looks like a ghost. We don't deal with ghosts. Cassian forced a tight smile. You do, just not for everyone. Even if, by the slimmest chance, I knew who she was, Garrick scanned around, careful of his line of sight not to land on Riot. What makes you think she wants you or anyone else to know? Cassian leaned forward, elbows on the table, all polished confidence and unspoken threat. Because I don't want to buy her. I want to hire her. I have a job, high payout, low visibility, tight turnaround. Garrick's face didn't change, but his fingers drummed once against the wood. She doesn't come cheap. I didn't ask for cheap, Cassian replied. Behind them, Riot stayed motionless, breath low. She watched Cassian the way a lone wolf watches a hunter who wandered where he shouldn't. He didn't look the type to take no for an answer. But then again, she wasn't the type to say yes, at least not right away. Not unless the stakes were worth her time. She finished her drink in one long, silent pull, set the glass down, and rose without a sound. Her boots, shadows, hell, even the air barely stirred. She was gone before either man noticed her slip upstairs. I don't talk business out in the open like this. Follow me. Garrick stood to escort Locke to the back, cutting his eyes toward Jet. The back room of the pit was less dive bar and more bunker, with low lighting, thick walls, and a round table scarred with knife marks and burn rings. A single fan whirred overhead, more noise than function. Garrick walked in first, pausing only to shove the door shut with his boot as Cassian followed. Garrick didn't sit. You're in Iron Vulture territory now. That means you don't get to come in here flashing names and money without being real clear about what you want. In case it escaped your attention, there are 3 of them sitting at the bar and at least 2 prospects. Now, what's the job? Cassian didn't blink. He just stepped to the table and placed a small, placed a black USB drive down like it weighed more than it should. A delivery, he said. But the item's sensitive. Valuable. It needs to get from point A to point B without law enforcement or competition noticing. She'll have full discretion on route, vehicle, and method. Garrick narrowed his eyes. That's not a job lock. That's a setup. I said it was sensitive, not stupid. The target's marked by more than one party. I'm not asking her to walk into a war zone just to be smart enough to avoid one. You're still not telling me what she's carrying. Cassian's mouth twitched a fraction. He didn't like being questioned, and the whole dance was starting to give him sore feet. Oh, I like that line. Oh, damn. I'm not telling until I know she's interested. But I will say this. It's not drugs, guns, or people. And it's not negotiable. She's either in or out. If she is, we meet face to face. No shell company, no middlemen. I need to see who I'm working with. Garrick stared at him for a long moment. Then he picked up the USB, weighing it like a question he wasn't sure he wanted the answer to. I'll see if she's interested. Garrick looked Cassian in the eye. If she is, you'll get your meeting. Go sit out in the bar, and I'll see if I can break the Ouija board loose. Cassian's eyes were steel behind the ice, finding little amusement in Garrick's words. This job's got a time limit. I need answers tonight. As he turned to leave, Garrick's voice followed him, quiet but firm. You chase ghosts long enough, Locke, they start chasing you back. And she isn't Casper. Cassian paused at the door, gave a sharp half smile, and disappeared into the dark of the hallway. 8:35 p.m., Riot's apartment above the pit. The floor above the pit wasn't much, just a few converted rooms and a private stairwell locked to outsiders. The soundproofing was crap, and Riot had learned years ago where the sweet spots were if she was going to eavesdrop for information. She crouched on top of her steel workbench, an old heating vent hissing warm air against her cheek. It was barely wide enough to catch voices, but it didn't need to be perfect. She'd heard the name, Cassian Locke. Her spine went stiff. That bastard was here, in her bar, on her turf. And he was talking to Garrick like he owned the air he breathed, when in all actuality, she could snap her fingers and have his head removed. She dragged a hand down her face, heart thundering. Eyes narrowed. She was cornered on more than one front and didn't like it one fucking bit. What the hell kind of job brought him to town himself? These damn things went through channels, and for good damn reason. She'd known someone was chasing Reckoner heavily for months, but this was... The apartment door slammed open. Riot! Jet Vix burst through, wild-eyed and panting. You are not going to believe this. I already know. Riot jumped down from the bench, jaw clenched so tight her teeth ached. Locke's downstairs talking to Garrick. Jet blinked, caught mid-spill. How the hell? The vent, obviously. Riot grabbed her jacket from the back of the chair, half tempted to grab her sidearm. Tell me everything you know before I go down there and stick a wrench through his designer throat. Jet stepped in front of her, palms up. Okay, breathe, you gasoline-drunk lunatic. He doesn't know who you are. He's been chasing Reckoner for years, Jet, heavily over the last few months, and betting against me for even longer. You think he's not connecting dots? Why else would he be here? In the pit, talking to one of my fucking handlers. He's not. Trust me. I talked to Garrick before running up here. Guy thinks you're some urban legend in helmet grease. This is a mistake, she said, pacing. He was never supposed to go this far. He should have given up by now. Fighting the gnawing pull in her gut. So, what's the job? Jet dropped her voice. Cassian wants someone to move something high value, but says it's not drugs, not guns, not people. Won't say what it is, though. That's comforting. Garrick is only passing it on to you because he figures if it's bait, you'll smell the hook. Riot scoffed. Flattering. Also, Cassian insisted on a face-to-face if you say yes. No go-betweens, just you and him. Riot froze mid-step. The idea of standing in front of him not as Reckoner, but as herself, wasn't just dangerous. It was a goddamn powder keg, and she had no problem lighting the damn fuse. He's either desperate, she muttered, or he wants me under his control. Little of column A, little of column B. Silence stretched as Riot chewed it over, jaw grinding. Do I take it? She finally asked. Jet's expression softened just slightly. I don't know, but I think if you don't, he'll find another way to get to you. With a man like Locke, there will always be something that needs your personal touch. Riot looked out the window at the distant line of mountains. The run to Nashville had cleared her head, but this was a storm coming in hard. Tell Garrick to tell him. She hesitated, then smirked coldly. If he wants the ghost, he can try to catch her. She'd enjoyed 5 years of being totally responsible, following every letter of her rules. Maybe it was time to up the ante. 9 p.m., back downstairs. Cassian's dark gray coat was now unbuttoned, sleeves pushed up, Rolex ticking beneath his wristbone. He looked like a vulture dressed for dinner in a den of wolves, out of place and completely unfazed by it, especially while sitting at a bar with 15 bikers sporting every local patch. Cassian nursed a rum and coke while awaiting his verdict, taking notes for later research. When Garrick emerged with information, certain this wasn't going to go the way Cassian wanted, but he'd deliver the message nonetheless. Garrick walked over and tapped Cassian's shoulder to garner his attention, giving him a subtle nod, turning to walk back toward the room. Cassian slapped a 20 on the bar and retreated behind Garrick. The air in the back of the pit was thick with stale whiskey, oil, and unspoken rules, most of which Cassian had broken by walking into the bar that night. It was the kind of place where secrets came to sweat. Cassian leaned against the battered table once he was back inside the room with calculated patience, a man who always got what he wanted. Eventually. This wasn't the first time he had pulled a stunt like this. Cassian was too calm, too controlled, and above all, too arrogant. Garrick closed the door behind him without saying a word. He didn't sit. Rather, he sized up the man in front of him. He wouldn't let him hurt Riot. Well? Cassian asked, not looking up from his phone, impatience evident. Garrick pulled out a cigarette, lit it, and let the silence build like a wall. She heard you. That got Cassian's attention. He looked up, expression cool but sharp. She's... Garrick smirked. The ghost you've been chasing. She was upstairs. Cassian arched his brow. She heard the whole conversation, every damn word. Garrick stepped closer, voice dropping to a hush, and she said, direct quote, if he wants the ghost, he can try to catch her. For a second, Cassian didn't react. Then he smiled, slow and dangerous. Well, he snickered, slipping his phone into his coat pocket. That's the first honest invitation I've had in months. She doesn't do invitations, Garrick said. She does engines, concrete, and hellfire. And if you push her, she'll run again, out of both of our reaches. Cassian looked toward the wall, as if he could see straight through the peeling paint and cheap insulation to the woman behind it. I'm not here to chase. His voice was almost too quiet. I'm here to win. Garrick let out a laugh. She ain't a prize, Locke. She's a reckoning. The reckoning. A reaper collecting more than just souls. I'd think twice. Cassian's eyes sharpened at that. It didn't matter how many people warned him. He wanted her and would settle for nothing less. Exactly. Garrick blew out another puff of smoke before shrugging and showing Cassian the door. There wasn't anything he could say to change Cassian's mind. It was like dealing with a more expensive version of Riot. And Garrick knew that when she had set her mind, the devil himself couldn't back her down. It would certainly be interesting to watch the suit fall on his ass. Cassian stepped out the back door instead of walking through the bar. He needed to clear his head, feeling like a man who'd just been dared by the universe or the devil. Knowing which entity in that moment had his head spinning. Not one woman he'd ever encountered made him feel like this, and he hadn't even come face to face with her yet. The chill hit him first, followed by the quiet hum of the world between moments. No traffic, no voices, just the soft buzz of a neon sign bleeding red against oil-slick pavement and the low metallic ping of an engine cooling nearby. Then came a sound that didn't belong. The growl of a motorcycle revving low and controlled, echoing off the buildings. Cassian's head snapped toward the alley beside the bar just as the sound built into a roar. He moved toward it, boots crunching gravel, breath burning his lungs in the cold air. From the shadows, he caught a glimpse of black leather hugging sharp curves and a braid swinging like a whip. A flash of silver on the gas tank, a skeletal hand painted over chrome. Reckoner. He took a step forward as the bike peeled out, back tire kicking gravel up like a rooster tail. The figure leaned into the turn, body one with the machine, gone before he could even get a clean look at her face. Cassian stood at the edge of the alley, watching taillights blur into the dark like a devil's promise. She was real. She'd been right there, close enough to touch and smart enough not to let him. Behind him, the door creaked. Garrick appeared, arms crossed, watching the same empty stretch of road. You didn't tell me she was beautiful. Garrick snorted. Would it have made a difference? Cassie's smile was more blade than charm. Only to my approach. He turned back to the street. I'll find her. Garrick muttered something that sounded like, God help us all. The bike's roar had long faded, but Cassian stood frozen in the alley behind the pit, eyes locked on the space where taillights once glowed. Reckoner, he murmured, almost to himself. There was no mistaking that machine. It wasn't just the purr of its engine. It was the way it moved, smooth, controlled, predatory. But something was off about it. Cassian could have sworn that it was the same bike she'd ridden on the track. Maybe it was the shadows of the buildings that made it look different. He adjusted the cuffs of his jacket, fingers twitching with restrained irritation. She'd been right here, right under his nose, and now she was gone again. Run, little rabbit, run. You have to stop sometime. Locke? Garrick's voice cut through the silence as he stepped back, keeping a safe distance. Smart man. You said she was hard to reach, Cassian replied without looking back. She is, Garrick said cautiously, and for good reason. I also told you she heard everything. Ball's in her court and you're playing on her turf. Cassian finally turned to face him, the sharp edges of his tailored coat catching the light from the back porch bulb. I've played this game long enough to know when someone's playing back, he said. Tell her I don't want to play anymore. I want a meeting, one-on-one. Private. And if she says no, I'd figure out a way to persuade her, Nolan. I'm sure you like the money you move around in this town. The contracts that drop into your lap before anyone else's. It would be a shame if all that went away. I can do my best, but as we both see, Reckoner plays by her own rules. She might tell you to straight up fuck off. Cassian's mouth twitched into something that wasn't quite a smile. She won't. But if she needs incentive, tell her I have no problem smoking her out. Cassian turned and walked off, his footsteps echoing on the pavement, tension clinging to him like smoke. He slid into the back of the black SUV waiting at the curb, window rolling down just enough to catch one last look at the bar behind him. She's not just the ghost on the track, he muttered to himself. She's the storm. Where to, boss? To the penthouse. I have work to do. He'd seen her without knowing it was her. It was her movement, the way she leaned in at the bar, that slip of steel behind her eyes. The woman who vanished up the stairs like smoke. The one whose voice hummed in his skull like a song half remembered from a phone call he'd been brave enough to make. He imagined her slipping down the back stairs just before the bike peeled out into the dark. He should have run upstairs when Garrick said she had heard everything. Should have known she would bolt. Should have followed or had someone else do it. Instead, he'd let her slip through his fingers again.
Ba, ba, ba.
Little teeny tiny inconsistencies with her reaction upstairs because she'd already seen him in the bar, but that can be fixed and adjusted. But good fucking god, woman! Where the fuck is my inhaler? I don't think I breathed properly reading that entire fucking thing because it just.
One line that stuck out and broke you?
I plead the fifth on grounds that it could incriminate me later.
Ah, that's a yes.
I will say that I was possibly watching reels that were made into memes about with Star Trek in it, and they kind of came up, and that might have been how they ended up named. I will
Fair, they're
never
great names.
and technically, Garrick's name had to be changed because it was too close to another character from another story. No, Garrick ended up as Garrick because the previous name was too close to um a, a character from another story. So that I've already currently written. So yeah, that's how he ended up here. Hi, Pura.
I don't mean to derail, but I was scrolling through my multiple discords to get all of the notifications off, and one of my friends posted just a little message saying a submissive werewolf writer who posts videos on YouTube will be called a lichen subscriber. Just have to share that with y'all.
You had to drop that as Izzy couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
That Izzy's like, breathe, Izzy.
Jesus. Sorry. Sorry.
Whew! Like and subscriber.
All right, get over here.
Well.
No, ma'am. Leave this stuff up there alone.
Okay.
So,
Whew. Okay, so 10:15 Eastern time. We're normally done at this point, and we still have 4 submissions yet. So, looking here real quick though, they shouldn't be too bad. They're not.
Mine's only 800.
Yeah, yours is kind of short, and nothing is as long as Cash and Julie's. So let's keep going.
I got no bedtime. Nick's not home.
Hey, there we go. All right. Next up, which will be popping up on screens momentarily because, delay. That will be fixed next week. Okay.
You figured out why the delay happens? You figured out what was wrong?
I'm going to hardline the son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was supposed to do that today, but we were trying to get the writing assignments done, and that's we
right.
We
and on top of that, because so anybody who has seen in the Discord as I'm walking around my house with my phone, I have a corner staircase that goes up, and in that corner staircase is a corner bookshelf. On the top of the corner bookshelf is the internet, because that is able to go everywhere in the house. Okay. So to hardline this son of a bitch, I have to take it along the wall, over a door frame, across to another door frame, then into this room, then over another door frame, and down. So I got me 100 foot of Cat 6. We gonna hardline that, because that's what the delay has been, is simply the fact that it's going off of Wi-Fi and going through the house. And Pop always used to complain that this house has RF hell, so radio frequency hell. Something disrupts signals constantly. So that's part of the delay. Yay, technical. Well, yeah. However, Leon, here in the States, internet is extremely fucking expensive. And I am currently on a legacy plan where I only pay $14.95 a month. So, until one of the kids gets famous or I get famous and we can afford a better route of internet, that's what we're going with. All right, next.
So I like, but
go ahead.
And all these videos I'm always seeing that they go viral on Facebook because it's a fuck up or a fail. Why would you try and build a 3D shape out of cookie dough and then be shocked when it ends up flat on your tray? Why are you shocked? I just watched some guy build a teddy bear that's like this big out of chocolate chip cookie dough, and then just pulls out a sheet of cookie. Like why? It's not cake. Why? I don't get it. I see them all the time.
And even cake, you don't start out like that. You literally build it into that shape. I don't know. People are dumb.
I see them often enough. It flabbergasts me. I don't get it. Moving on. Sorry.
Yay for neuro variants.
I prefer the term slightly spicy.
Not on my Facebook.
See, spicy is your chili that I have been enjoying for the last week and a half.
You it's ferments.
No, no, actually it was really, really, really flavorful, but it wasn't hot. It was spicy, flavorful, like awesome sauce. Um, that's not the
But
point.
it just
That's
gets stronger.
that's what spicy to me is. Um, unless we're talking smexy stuff, that's something completely different. Um, and I would argue that I have a dear friend who is neurospicy because the things that she freaking likes in that realm, not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. I am not neurospicy in that way. Mm-mm. So I go with neurovariant, which actually is a skit that somebody did talking and using the television show Loki for neurodivergence. Divergence implies that we are different than the norm, but have you noticed? Just about all of us are. So how is that not the norm?
Well, it's like what you say. Two things can be true at the same time.
This is true. This is very true. I've been saying that a lot lately. But on top of that, I've been saying context is important about 15 times a day the last 2 weeks. So there we go. On to SP Stavros. Forgotten God. Mira, daughter of Anubis, had returned from her long rest to someone she recognized, one of the four brothers of Horus. Ahmed, if you have come, where are your brothers? Mira searched the space for Belial, or the son of Kabassenuf, Omar, or the son of Imseti, and Isam, or the son of Duamutef, the pillars of funeral rites. If she was here, and they were here, then something big must be needed. Son of Horus, what has summoned us to this realm? Her voice took on an ethereal tone, layers of all her past, present, and future lives merging into one. Ahmed, the son Happy, stared quietly at the Princess of Death. Your Highness, he bowed shortly. We have been waiting for your arrival for years now. You have come, but it may already be too late. His tired, defeated voice echoing. The beep of what sounded like a foreign goat came from down the stone-walled building, then the quick flash of light that ignited, then burned out. A figure walked toward a glistening carriage, their hand held out. Who dares disrupt? Mira's voice boomed. The figure jumped, then scurried away when they saw Mira. Ahmed sighed. He quietly guided Mira away. We will talk inside. This isn't the place to talk. Mira stared at him, bewildered. In her era, this was more inside than she had ever seen. The palaces she lived in were ivory carved to honor Anubis, Osiris, and Ra, each pillar holding up the sturdy roof, but no wall in sight. Just the glorious sun beating down on her brow, reminding her she lived, and her father would never have to weigh her heart for burial, that she would never see Osiris face to face. Mira would never have to worry about Amit's judgment. Ahmed pulled her inside another lit room. Then they entered a metal box resembling a canopic box. Must we enter such a thing? It looks like it might send me off to Aru, Mira grumbled as Ahmed pulled her inside the death trap. Soon they made it to a floor of fur and ever-burning torches that lined the hall that seemed to go on forever. Come, Your Highness, Ahmed said quietly as he guided her down, Mira silently taking in everything around her. They stopped in front of a door, then Ahmed knocked. Someone answered, not one of the four brothers. A woman of small stature, her hair the color of reeds and eyes as blue as the sky. Mira stood stunned. She didn't realize she had died in that short time, yet it looked like Osiris herself was before her. A quiet part of her mind niggled on something she could quite remember, something vital about Osiris. My lady Osiris, Mira bowed to the woman. Ahmed stared tiredly at her. Your Highness, Osiris presents as a man. Just like that, a flash of her father's lessons flooded her mind. How the Lord of Silence came to meet Anubis. The judge of the dead met Mira's father, due to death by his own brother. Set killed and scattered his body parts. Everything had been collected except his reproductive organs by his wife Isis. Yet a part of her still felt like she was right. Something about the woman was resembling of Osiris. She holds the last piece of Osiris, Isam spoke from behind the woman. The dark hair of Duamutef stood against his dark skin like a well-maintained horse's mane, shining and smooth. Isam took a bite from a pleasant-smelling dough as Ahmed ushered them all behind the closed door. What era is this? Mira glanced around the room. All four brothers were there alongside this woman possessing the last piece of Osiris. A gust of warm wind came from the cracked window across the room. What season are we in? If she were close to the summer solstice, then she must pay her respects to Ra. On the longest day, Ra shone down his radiance to grace his subjects with life-giving power. Omar stood up then, his alluring stature taller than his brother's. The summer solstice is almost upon us. The power of Ra is meant to be getting stronger, but something has gone wrong. His deep voice awakening a lost part of Mira that had been sleeping for some time. Eons ago, the two had snuck behind the backs of the others, insistent they belonged together. They didn't. Is that why I have awoken? What has happened? Mira looked into the grim faces around her. The people of this era aren't familiar with how to protect their Ka. There has been the very life-given essence sapped from the people. Ahmed spoke quietly. Bilal slammed a hand on the ivory counter by where he sat. Tell it how it really is, brother. There is a sorcerer out there stealing souls. They have been corrupted because we have been too late. Our attempts to preserve their organs for protection has done little. The man ground his teeth in frustration. Mira shook her head slowly. It couldn't be. Those under the protection of Ra should be safe. How could this be so? Ra has Sekhmet, Hathor, and Bastet as guardians of the people. Mira's voice uncertain. Unless someone has betrayed Ra, invoking the burning glare of Ra. Her voice sharp and accusatory. Bilal glared at her. Why do you always assume the worst? He said, frustration evident. Can't you just trust me for once? The woman glanced helplessly between all of them. She walked up to Mira and held out her hand. Hi, my name is Melanie. Nice to meet you. Mira's fingers touched Melanie's hand hesitantly, asked the woman, shook her hand up and down. May your Ka be guarded, Mira greeted with a side eye. I really didn't mean to get into all of this. I ended up getting Osiris's thing. Accidentally. Someone was selling it in a flea market. Melanie awkwardly smiled. The utter horror of the realization hit Mira hard. Who would dare sell Osiris's organ? At a flea market, no less. Even in her time, those pesky markets were a thing. Show me the first place you found the corruption. The group guided Mira to a place outside. The night chilled her to the bone as they walked behind an old clock tower. Ashen sand littered the ground, and dark veins cracked the wall. What did the body look like? She touched the sand, feeling the lack of Ka from ground in the area. Black pupils, mummification without preservation, cracked of those black veins in the flesh. Ahmed touched the wall in examination. Then the clock struck midnight, and it was like Mira was seeing too. What she had previously said and seen, and where she was in that moment. The group was walking up to the clock tower again, as if time had reversed. Halt! Mira commanded. The four brothers and Melanie stopped in their tracks and glanced at her. Something has gone wrong with Kansu. Time has repeated. This can only mean one thing. The balance of Ma'at and Isfet is off kilter. The god of chaos has become too powerful. Until she fixed the balance, the people wouldn't make it to Dewat. The dead would live undead lives. I'm not going to lie, I am so motherfucking confused. You're muted, Shar.
I'm not gonna lie, the 17-year-old in me who was obsessed with Egyptian mythology is running on a hamster wheel right now, going tick, 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 tick. That was very interesting. There was clearly a lot of research put into this because I just, yeah. Quick little
I mean,
thing.
Ka, Dewat,
Yeah. Duat is
all those
basically like their
things.
version. Duat's basically like their version of the afterlife. The different gods who have different roles. The four brothers. Stavros, did you mean the sons of Horus rather than the brothers of Horus? Because Horus didn't have four brothers. If you're talking about the four sons of Horus, that would be the ones that protect the different. But they're part of the funeral rites. They protect the different body parts. Like one protects the liver, one protects the lungs, one protects the stomach, that kind of thing. They all have different roles. But that was fascinating because yeah, if something goes wrong with the rites of mummification.
Oh yeah. I mean, like there were bits and pieces where I was like, "Oh, okay, I think I'm following," and then something would happen, and I'm like, oh, "Okay, I'm not sure." Because like Shar, come on. Do you know how many statues of Bastet,
Yeah.
Bast, Ubasti, and Sekhmet I have in this house? Yes.
I like the touch of having Ahmet because you don't get to see Ahmet a lot. And I like that Stavros actually used Ahmet instead of Anubis because Ahmet is actually the one who will flat out just eat your heart if you fail the judgment.
I mean, Anubis was there, but not. Yeah. So there's a lot of research that went into that.
Yeah, they're called the four brothers, but they're sons to Horus. Okay, yeah, because at the beginning, I have access to it, so I can check myself. Yeah, one of the four brothers of Horus could be misinterpreted as Horus' brothers rather than Horus' sons, but they're all brothers. So, yeah, that was the only part that really threw me off and kind of went, hang on. Everything else is, yeah.
And if nobody had noticed, there was a concept prompt about at the stroke of midnight, time went backwards.
That's true.
That we had never freaking used, never voted for, and Stavros found a very interesting way of inserting it and putting it in there. And as soon as I was reading that, I was like, holy shit, somebody did it! But again, these are rough drafts, right? Thus far in everything that we've read, there's opportunities for cleanup and everything else. Mine is going to be boring as fuck. I do not blame anybody if you fall asleep during it. I apologize ahead of time. But
I'm still giggling over finding Osiris's dick at a fucking flea market.
Yeah. It's hilarious. And just kind of hit out of the blue.
But that would totally happen.
It would. It would. Poor Osiris.
No, that was great. Because I see.
I love the concept.
Yeah, I see so many stories that take forgotten religions or dead religions, and they just run and they take off and they make up a bunch of things. They basically use the names but make up their own lore. It's like, no, at that point, just make up your own names. Make up your own, because you're not following the original lore. So you may as well make up your own names. But no, this actually stuck to the source material very well. I was very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an ad in 2 minutes.
we go. Transition on there. Which means up next, C.R. McCormick.
We do have an ad coming up soon, though. So.
Yes, but we've been live for
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. And most of our
That's true.
followers, viewers,
subscribed
are subscribers.
Yes, they subscribed.
Yes, they subscribed. So they don't have to deal with the ad for the most part. Also,
the ads
the
aren't
good
on the
news
playback.
is the ads are not on the playback. So, but however, I do believe that a little squiggle smoke break is in order because, unlike many people, I do not partake of that inside my house. I do not like cleaning my walls. I'm still cleaning off Pop's nicotine from the living room. So I'm going to be right back and enjoy music or something. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
Julie
we can
can.
talk about the first half of the show. Besides,
Yeah,
everybody's
there you
thinking
go.
about body butts.
Well, of course, maybe Julie's head will, start going, everybody! Yeah!
What Julie's saying.
Hey, just in case we need to turn it up. But yes, if you need to refill your drink, go to the bathroom, get a snacky snack. We do have a couple left for the night. So everybody, hey Trisha, I need you to hit the button you always hit. Either stretchies or hydrate or dihydrate. Because that's what
Whole world playing our sound. Turn it up, it's going down. Hot tracks don't mix how it's done, done, done. You do, done, done, done.
No, do we have one that says get up and stretch?
No, but I can make one very easily.
Okay. Put that on the little.
Put that on the checklist.
Put that on the checklist. Yeah, because we got to hydrate or dihydrate, and we got a posture check, which is great while we're story after story after story. But when we have breaks like this, it's like we need one that. There you go. There's Trisha on the hydrate or dihydrate. But we do need one that says get up and move.
Yeah, I'm almost done the be right back screen. Once I finish that, I'll set up. What sound will be good for sit up and
I
stretch?
just have to run around that curtain right there and go grab something to drink.
I need to figure out a sound effect for the get up and stretch.
Can we do the Tigger sound?
Ooh, that's a good.
Bing, bing. That's what I'm thinking.
Heels, nails, blade, mascara. Fit check for my napalm era. Needs my face, make it cute and savage. Mirror, mirror on my phone. Who's the best? Us, hello. Looking you out like a roller. It's in your mind. Cause I'm gonna show you how it's done, done, done.
So, Char, thoughts?
Yes. On what?
How cuts and cufflinks are coming along, or
I need to rewind because my brain's full of Egyptian gods right now. Wait, what is? Oh, it's Leah. Okay. I won't lie, I'm struggling a little bit just because I've never really been into the whole billionaires romances, but the biker part and the racing part definitely has me hooked in. I don't like bossy, cocky men who think they can throw money at everything and it will get them what they want. And that's what most billionaire romances are.
Yes, but then you have my girls.
Yes, and the girls are what's keeping me locked in.
And you have my girls that literally go with, "Oh, you want to do what? Aw, bless your heart." And I do mean the bless your heart.
Yep. That was me, Stavros. You're welcome.
I have not seen it. I have no idea.
I'm obsessed. I'm 100% obsessed. The full
I would-
soundtrack is on my Spotify.
Well, I
There's
mean,
always at
I
least one
watched
song.
enough of the previews of it when Aries is done watching certain movies because it cuts to like the 5 most popular,
Yeah.
and then I have to watch it, and I'm sitting there like, I don't think I'll be interested in it.
Oh, I love it so much. I'm obsessed with it.
But then again, I am the type of person that if they got rid of all anime, I would not blink an eye.
Fair.
But when you have to hear the same 12 animes over and over and over again to the point where you can fucking quote them, you understand why.
You clearly gotta find him more then. There's plenty to find. Oh god, and now I have free runs and songs stuck in my head.
Yes, there are. And there are plenty that I do not allow in this house.
Yeah, no. There's lots of animes that Aries should not be watching right now. But there's also plenty that he would
I've
love.
at least got it to where he's watching it on his tablet.
Yeah.
And not on the main TV. But there's a lot of them that Robbie can watch on the main TV that I'm like, that's not appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a hard line.
Okay. Now mind you, I do like Witch Hunter. Okay. That was Hunter, Witchblade.
Witchblade. Oh, okay. I was gonna say Witch Hunter Robin.
You're my favorite, and at the end of that one, I bawled.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie about it. I bawled. Okay. I got really big into Shield Hero.
Yep. Shield Hero's good.
But
yep.
Now, because it's so far in between seasons being released, that I stopped watching after season 2. I wait for a lot of them to come out, and then I binge watch the entire thing.
That's fair.
Usually while I'm folding laundry, and if there's nothing else on.
There's one anime I'm currently heavily fixated on right now. It's Free Run at Journey's End. It's literally about a fantasy adventuring party after they kill the big bad and they save the world. It's like, okay, what happens now? And it's just about them all going their different ways and being like, hey, what happens after the adventure's over?
Right. I think that's one of the reasons that I am enthralled with Shield Hero. Because it does show you what happens after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I think a lot of it is bullshit? Absolutely.
Of course.
But I know I know this is going to sound very hypocritical coming from me. I do know this. So nobody has to point this out. I'm just pointing that out there. Do we really need him to go through that much fucking character development in the first 3 episodes and trying to kill him?
Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's anime. Yes, we do.
I mean, yes. It's anime. And yes, that is the whole thing that keeps people freaking running. And I understand. It's hypocritical for me to say that because of all the fucking shit I put my goddamn character through. I know it's hypocritical. But at the same time, I do it to further the character and the plot. They just, at certain points in the damn show, it feels like they're just doing it because they ran out of good ideas for the rest of the season. It's like, hey, let's Just keep throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. And I know that, part of Shield Hero, when it first emerged, was also during the writer's strike. So they were literally just using up the last bit of scripts that they had access to. And yeah, there's a whole 3-4 episodes that do not make any sense at all. If you base it off those 3-4 episodes, it's fine. If you put it with the rest of it, it makes no sense. Like, how the hell did we even get there? Why is he there? You just solved that problem in the last episode. Why are we doing it again? So, but what is he?
What?
I just sent Cash something on Instagram. I'll share it with you guys later.
Lord have mercy. Okay.
I can't even access it right now because I'd have to
You
go
know.
off the app.
No,
Yeah,
don't do
as
it
soon as
now.
you do it,
Don't
it
do
kicks
it now. Yeah, don't do it now. Just know
See, I
that
have my laptop.
afterwards.
I mean, I do have a tablet sitting right here.
Size doesn't matter when you're with your bestie. Kane, you would know. Okay, and so we are up with another to-do item, Char.
Yes.
A be right back screen.
I am working on it. It is 3/4 done.
Cool. But obviously, we still want to have the chat on there.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Great. My giggle is not evil. It's cute
Please.
and
You
sweet
literally sounded
and
like
little.
you live in the middle of the woods in a mushroom hut.
Oh, hello, Maggie. Hello, Maggie.
My kitty's outside.
Hello.
She won't come back in.
There's Maggie. We haven't seen Maggie in the office for a while.
And that's because Maggie took up resident in the kitchen.
I know.
And and has a budding relationship or situationship, so to speak, with Miss Purra.
Hey.
I did not know.
We are not messing with the OBS computer, okay?
Oh no, please don't do that.
Please
don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, we didn't mess anything up. Okay, good girl. Oh, there's a reason her middle name is Mayhem. Say, but we are sweet and we are little. I'm gonna say hi to your adoring public. Don't whack me with the tail. Sweet baby. But Mama has to read more stories. Mommy has to read more stories. She's like, I don't care.
She really needs Mama the way she's hugging up against you.
I know. There are claws digging into my shoulder.
Ooh.
Making me jealous. My fucking voidling's outside right now and she won't come back in.
Well,
okay.
She hasn't really been allowed out.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Kane. Jesus Christ. Okay.
On that one. Go ahead.
And we are back to reading submissions. Up next, one C.R. McCormick with something entitled Conservation Efforts. Tasha gnawed on her already ragged thumbnail as she stared at the screens, rapidly spitting out data, tapping her foot in an agitated rhythm while her eyes darted over the information. Her stomach cramped again as she read over the recent changes and tweaks made, and her heart hurt as she switched over to the live feed, staring at the balled up shape of the creature on the screen. Taking in a sharp, quick breath, she shook her head and started a lap around the circular room, now chewing on the skin next to her thumbnail. Is it too late to call this off? She asked, her eyes on the floor as she walked, lifting only to stare at the screens as she passed them. A loud snort was her answer. Yeah, we're about 7 minutes from release. Pretty sure that counts as too late, Quentin called from where he sat in the middle of the room, tapping buttons on the circle of desks that surrounded him. Seriously, we can just not release it, Tasha argued. That had Quentin finally looking up at her, his eyes narrowing as he followed her around the room. Why would we call it off? This is what we've been working towards for the last 2 years, he countered. Tasha rammed her fingers into her hair, ignoring the sting of her raw fingernails as she did so. I know that. And if I recall correctly, this entire thing was your idea, he added, and she finally stopped her circular pacing to point a shaking finger at him. No, my idea was introducing a predator species to the area to help cull the herd. What the fuck do you think that is? Quentin demanded, jabbing a finger at the small screen on one of his desks. That is a science experiment gone sideways. That's going to leave the ecosystem in ruins, Tasha snapped. I wanted to take an already existing species and just tweak it, increase its muscle mass a bit, help it survive the harsher climate it's being introduced to. That's what they did, Quentin pointed out, turning his attention back to the desk. No. Tasha continued, rushing over to the desks and slamming shut the laptop he was staring at. No, they took the base of a wolf and threw in half a dozen creatures they thought looked tough enough. I swear to fuck, have none of those scientists seen Jurassic Park? Fuck. Where do you think Jerry got the idea? Quentin asked, flashing a grin up at her and pushing her hands off his laptop in order to open it again, letting out a sigh of relief when he saw the screen wasn't damaged. Well, that, and he also took inspiration from when they parachuted wolves into Michigan to get a handle on the moose population.
Actually happened.
Yeah.
Canada sent them.
I know.
Hence the wolf being the main body of it. He tapped a couple more buttons, then looked up at her. Tosh, it's gonna be fine. It's still basically a wolf, just with bonus features.
A wolf with bonus features?
It's 9 feet tall at the shoulder and has 6 legs, she hissed through her teeth, resuming her pacing. And acidic saliva! Don't forget the saliva! Quentin called, tapping a couple more buttons, and Tasha winced as she saw everything kick into gear. WTF!
Keep going!
This is a mistake, she hissed, completing the first circuit around the room and starting another. It was never supposed to go this far. We're supposed to be conservation scientists, not a 12-year-old playing God on The Sims. She pressed her hands to her face, staring through her fingers and watching as the creature the team had cooked up woke from the feeling of the room it was in starting to shake. This is going to be a disaster. Why do you always assume the worst? Quentin said, frustration evident. Can't you just trust me for once? Jurassic Park! Jurassic Park! Anyway. He turned to face her once more. You know the steps we have to take for conservation. When a species overruns a habitat, they have to be culled, especially when said species is overrun due to the actions of humans, something you yourself have said repeatedly. I know that, she snapped, as she moved to the front of the round room, wincing as Quentin hit 2 more buttons, then slammed his hand down on Big Red, as he called it, and the entire room shuddered in response. Tasha stood in front of the huge window at the front of the room, staring down at the slowly spinning earth below them as the pod holding the altered wolf was launched and began descending rapidly towards the planet. I just never thought humans would be the ones getting cold when I said it. Hey, I've heard about what life on Earth is like, Quentin argued as he monitored the pod's entry into the atmosphere. If that thing's going to have half a chance of getting the humans down to a number the planet can handle, it's going to need all the help it can get. I still think we should have included the goose DNA. I've heard some truly terrifying stories about those things.
We need to send this to Trevor. Izzy, we need to send this to Trevor.
Is it like hybrid with an alien?
He's got a thing about goose or geese. So
He does have a thing about geese.
that's why I said we need to send this to Trevor.
Okay, look, there are 2 things in this world. Do not dredge it up from the depths of the ocean. Do not dredge it up from the depths of the earth. And do not use Jurassic Park as your base model. I mean, it makes for great fiction. It makes for great fiction. But
I got you at the end there with the humans, huh?
Yeah.
I was really worried I would give it away that the humans were the ones who were being culled, but apparently I kept that under wraps well enough.
I got okay, so I got Komodo dragon with the saliva.
Yep.
Wolf.
Yep.
I'm confused about the 6 legs.
That was an accident.
So evidently everyone else is confused too.
Yeah, there also there's other bonus features that weren't mentioned. It's basically my take on what happens when alien invasions happen. This is why alien invasions happen, because the aliens went, there's too many of them. Boop.
But the whole thing is the 6 legs. It's scorpion.
Oh yeah. Or some other kind of insect. Yeah.
What Izzy? I can't remember.
What's
Where
wrong
is she?
is
Above me.
What's wrong? Use your words. Char did good?
Yeah, Char did very good.
WTF?
I'm gonna have to go back and clip that. That was great.
Yeah, this isn't a Dahlia clip. This is literally shock.
I wanted to do something weird. I haven't done weird in a while.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do love Ridley. I love Scoundrel. I love the Pirates. Okay, yes, fully, yes. But my favorite things of yours are the ones like the After Hours Bakery and the aquarium and
good little short stories.
yes.
Or the haunted house.
This ranks. This ranks. This ranks. I'm just
Oh, that was very satisfying. I'm very happy. That reaction was everything I wanted. I'm good.
I mean,
Got it.
it's not hashtag make Izzy feel for nothing.
Also, I'm noticing there's a lot of wolves going on tonight.
There
must have
are.
been going through withdrawal.
Yeah, we got Kesha's werewolves. We got Julie's lone wolves, figurative wolf, but still technically a wolf. I think there were a few wolf references in well, canine-esque, I suppose, with Anubis in Stavros's. Don't think Trisha had. No, Trisha had werewolves. No, it's wolves tonight.
It's a wolf kind of night.
Bonus features.
And so of course, next up is our lovely queen of horror herself.
Who's not here tonight, sadly.
Not here tonight, sadly, that I have seen. But that's okay. Off getting an education.
Yes.
That's important. That's
fellow
important.
Canadian. My other fellow Canadian. Because I got one in the chat.
Okay. Here we go. Saturday 27 is what she's got it labeled, which is today's date. Uh-oh, I see her cursor in the document. Okay. Dahlia sends it in, providing us access to the document instead of sending it in PDF. Please don't do that. Dahlia has special privileges. Because she sends it in, and so we know, and then she keeps working on it right up until. All right. Here we go. As the school bell rang, kids ran out of the school with excitement. As the kids made it to their various destinations, their parents' cars, school bus, and even some just walking home, a group of kids began to huddle together, waiting for their final companion. Being one of the last one to run out, Bowie ran towards them, almost making it to them before tripping over her shoelaces. Quickly, Ethan helped her up. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked. "Yeah, all good," Bowie replied as she tied her shoelaces. "You should really double knot them with how much you trip on a daily basis," Joseph said. "I can't do that then. They'll look ugly," Bowie replied. "Should we go to your place, Ethan?" Noelle asked. "Works for me." No, we have to go to my house. I have something to show you guys. Me and my dad have been working on it all year, and finally it is almost done, Bowie interrupted, leading everyone towards her place, pushing and waving many of her friends gently in the direction she wanted. Speed walking as fast as she could, everyone attempted to keep pace with Bowie as she zoomed home, losing her the moment her house came into sight. They sped up in order to catch up. "Okay, give me 10 minutes to finish up the surprise. I promise it will be worth the wait," Bowie said, running into the backyard and closing the gate behind her. I can't wait to go into her backyard. It's been so long since we got to go into her treehouse, Ethan said. Just then, a loud noise that sounded like construction came from her backyard. Everyone looked to one another before shrugging their shoulders and sitting on the grass. I don't know about that. Curious kids running in. But maybe they're respectful of, What do you think they are working on back there? Joseph asked. Hey, maybe the surprise is a bigger treehouse, Ethan suggested. Or they could be building a pool we could all swim in for the summer, Noelle added. Ooh, maybe a robot that can play games with us, Joseph said. As ideas flew from each of them, each came up with speculation of what could be going on in Bowie's backyard. Their excitement grew the more they built off each other's thoughts. Wild, out-of-this-world thoughts came to mind the more time passed. Before they knew it, Bowie came running from her backyard. It's ready, guys. Come on. You're going to love it. I promise, Bowie said. Leading them towards the surprise, Bowie kept glancing back as they all ran into the yard. Before they knew it, they were standing in front of a rainbow bubble-like machine that had a bunch of bubble arms going around or into the ground. I'm already frightened. I'm just going to put that out right now.
Yeah.
It's Dahlia. Being able to see through the bubbles to the other side, they were amazed as they watched Bowie's dad come out of nowhere, appearing out of the massive bubble in the center, his tool bag in one hand and 2 remotes in the other. Wow, that kind of looks like an alien robot. So cool, Ethan said. Let's go inside, Joseph said. Here, Bowie, don't forget the remote, and remember to be safe while playing in there, Bowie's dad said. Will do, Dad. Thank you, Bowie said, grabbing one of the bubble-shaped remotes. They all started running into the center bubble one by one, disappearing out of sight. Inside the bubble were multiple circular doors with different swirling colors for each of them. In the middle was control panels with multiple different buttons of all shapes and sizes. This is so cool. I can't tell if this or your treehouse is cooler. You and your dad build amazing things, Noelle squealed. Hey, you guys want to do something even cooler? Bowie asked, going up to the control panel and pushing, pulling, and squeezing some of the buttons. A small bubble came from the top and floated down towards Bowie. Hello, Bowie. How may I help you today? Bowie's dad said from the bubble. I want to enter into the imagination world with my friends, a world where everything is made of cotton candy, she said. Please enter the pods, he said, just as 4 pods shaped like UFOs came out of the floor. Each of them entered into a pod. Just then, they disappeared, leaving a cloud, each a different color that slowly faded away.
I know where this is going. Everything's made of cotton candy.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Excuse me.
Leave it to Dahlia to ruin another food group.
Oh.
I'm scared.
You should be. It's Dahlia.
I want to hear the rest. I want to hear the rest.
There is no more.
No, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Of course it is. It's Dahlia.
It's like bah, 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 that you.
Right, Trisha? No, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Don't go in there.
I mean, it might be completely innocent. Some of the even.
Yeah.
I know, but she's even said before that, like, she tries to do something nice and sweet, and we are now just so traumatized that we can't even see the sweet stories because we're just waiting for the next shoe to drop. Even when there isn't a shoe to drop. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Well. Exactly, that's what I told her. I like,
Seriously.
honey. I, I, mm,
Over the rainbow.
ah,
Birds sing. I'm going to be by a large child who will leave me to melt with every other thing. I don't know what was worse, the potential to be eaten as cotton candy or somebody using Jurassic Park as a fucking manual. That's like using the Geneva Convention as a to-do list. Okay, that's just
I'm
what
Canadian.
well, I'm not
I,
sleeping tonight. I hope y'all know that.
Oh my goodness. The stories tonight have been great.
They are. It's been a great night.
and now
It's
we're
not gonna have
ending,
a lineup, but I
and,
had no
and now,
idea how true that
now
tweet
we're,
is actually gonna be.
now we're ending on the boring one.
It's
I mean, usually today it's boring, but we'll be the judge of that.
yes.
You ready to meet 14 new characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In context this time.
Do I need to get a checklist?
Yep. I would say break out the crayons and the Crayolas and the construction paper because you're gonna need them. Crayolas, construction
about
paper, a whiteboard, and a couple of dry erases might actually be helpful.
And
Yeah.
and 14 new characters is why I say this is the most boring thing in the world, because I had to go and make things extra super fucking complicated. Okay.
Come on.
Mud held the phone steady between the pads of his fingers. The cab was hot with bodies and breath, a faint tang of sweat riding the recycled air. He tracked his team's disguised vehicles in the side mirror as they spaced themselves through traffic. On speaker, Vex rattled off the gate status and lab prep under protocol SWAC. Mud let the details wash over him, listening past the drone of tires and the whine in the fan belt, weighing each line against what they needed. Tighter. Keep it clean, he cut in. We'll be at the east gate in 40. Tell Lockjaw to take charge of the van. Declan Gallagher never tolerated sloppiness, and Mud trusted Team Beta's leader to handle it in his stead. He tapped his throat mic. Hawk, stay back of the line. If we picked this up from Dove's Nest, you don't need exposed. Tyrell Johnson's pickup floated 2 cars back, sliding in and out of civilian traffic. Roger that, boss, a gravelly voice replied as Hawk dropped further behind. A sedan drifted farther behind. Katerina Morozova, a slim silhouette against the sun, playing commuter. Another click on the radio. Skip on ahead, Ghost. Clear a path. Gently. The woman's deep Ukrainian purr answered, Yes, sir. My pleasure. Mud watched her pass, caught the glint of sun on her side mirror, and noticed how she tugged her bun loose. Hair spilled into a silky blonde ponytail over her shoulder. He muttered under his breath, That woman is a devil. The panel van hung well behind their truck, Lena Torres in her wraparound shades at the wheel. Keen O'Malley rode shotgun, their demolitions man. Mud toggled his mic. Torch? Spur? You staying cool back there? The last thing he needed was the Latina Spitfire and Irish flamethrower squabbling with 4 dead bodies in the back of the unrefrigerated van.
Oh.
Spur's voice poured through the line in a torrent of angry Spanish, hard consonants rattling as sharp as her temper. No, jefe. Si ese irlandés toca otro maldito botón, voy a arrancarle las manos y... Torch cut her off, brogue dry. We're fine, boss. But apparently I'm not allowed to push buttons. Mud rolled his eyes. For those interested, she said that he was going to cut his hand off, and that's when he interrupted her. Mud rolled his eyes. Beside him, Alicia Grant chuckled low in her throat, but kept the truck smooth. Her steady handling on any wheel had earned her the name Axel. It fit, same as the grease that never seemed to scrub from her arms. The disguise she'd put together held. Contractor decals fading under road grit, ladder rack humming when the crosswind caught it. In the rear seat, Gage, Dr. Noah Kazemi, leaned over Plummer, his gloved fingers pressed to the man's throat, lips moving in a low count, a mutter slipping into Farsi. Sweat pooled under Plummer's collar, his normally rich tone muted beside Gage's steady olive. Mud's eyes flicked between Gage and Plummer, noting how fragile he looked, more than his stout frame should allow. Axel's deft swerving nudged Plummer against the door. Mud caught a faint grimace flicker across his friend's face as a low groan escaped him. Careful, Axel, he growled. Relax, boss. If I slow down, he'll be too far gone by the time we get there, she teased. Unless you want Tio here to take the long walk. Watch your mouth, Mud growled. Save the jokes for someone else. Axel sobered. Roger that. 40 minutes later, they drifted past the front gate before slipping off the asphalt onto an overgrown service road, the timber crowding close as if to swallow the truck whole. Mud marked a set of faint tire tracks on the berm, Ghost's sedan running point, and the camouflaged flash of sensor eyes nailed to trunks. The lane curved deeper beneath the trees, screened from the manicured lawns and fountain views guests would see. Brush scraped this truck's sides, vines clawing at chain link glimpsed through the timber. No visitor would wander this way, by design. When the trees broke a mere 100 feet in, the east gate came into view, a twin to the south gate's wrought iron and stone. Both had their guard shacks and card readers, though this one was rarely manned, except now, under protocol SWAC. Ghost slid through the open gate without slowing. Behind Mud, Gage muttered more Farsi, eyes closed, his fingers steady on Plummer's throat as he counted under his breath. Plummer sagged, barely aware. Mud leaned closer, catching the sour tang of sweat beating at his friend's collar. Hang in there, brother, he growled. We're almost home. Axel punched the accelerator, tires grinding over gravel as they fell in behind Ghost. Mud's eyes tracked the brick and iron wall, rising up through the trees, the estate's mansion and outbuildings waiting on the other side. The open field to their left lay empty, save for the hum of cicadas thrumming through the air. A figure stood at the gate as they approached, tall, statuesque, shoulders squared. Huldra. Mud felt a flicker of pride. He'd recommended her for Radiant's detail, and her presence meant one thing. The doc was already on site. Axel barreled past, but Mud caught the former Jägertruppen soldier's curt nod through the window. Once cleared by Dr. Connors and leaving Plummer in her capable hands, he'd check in on his newest protege. Axel ground to a stop with Plummer's door as close to the mansion as she could. Jokes aside, Plummer really was Tio to many of the younger guards, and the mechanic was no exception. Mud noted Ghost stepping out of the vehicle she'd parked with precision against the tree line, screened from view of the south side grounds. Spur swung the van in, nose first, and dropped it into reverse. Gravel spat from under the tires as she backed toward the mansion, angling the rear for an easy unload. Sunlight glanced off Torch's shades as he leaned forward in the passenger seat, watching the mansion in the side mirror with a tight jaw. The van jolted to a stop. The suspension groaned. A dull thud carried through the bulkhead. Dead weight rolling in the dark. Mud stepped out of the crew cab. The chill hit him full in the face. The breeze carried the sharp edge of pine and damp earth, cutting through the exhaust haze that hung low over the gravel. Hawk pulled in as ordered, the taller man keeping his rig back from the mansion. The wiry Vex emerged from the mansion's shadow, protective gear catching the pale sun as he crossed the gravel to the sedan. He waved Ghost through, then hauled open the passenger door to grab the comms case, a sleek, leather contractor's bag hiding a field rig. The handle creaked in his grip as he angled toward Hawk, who hefted the drone kit in answer. "Take care of my baby, Vex." Yeah, Vex muttered. "Ooh, a raptor's safe with me." Mud's ears caught the faint rasp of Hawk's chuckle. Their arrival was running smoothly, controlled, just the way he wanted it. The wind pushed across the clearing, brushing the gravel dust away. A scuff of boots drew his attention. Another figure slipping from the mansion's side entrance, taller, broad-shouldered. Tomas Klein. Stitch. The former EMT moved with purpose, stride steady and unhurried, as though the chaos around him never touched his pulse. He closed the distance to Plummer's door in a handful of deliberate steps. Stitch approached Plummer's side, bracing against the doorframe as he leaned in. "You with me, Tio?" His voice was low, steady, anchored. Plummer's eyelids fluttered. A faint nod answered. Mud closed his door and moved to the man, but Gage had already unbuckled Plummer's seatbelt as Stitch reached in to help the older man to his feet. Gage climbed out behind them, steadying Plummer. The two medics exchanged a brief, wordless glance, a practice signal, and lifted in unison. Plummer sagged between them, heavy but supported. Stitch's jaw tightened, muscles coiling to absorb the strain, while Gage shifted slightly to balance, eyes scanning the ground. Every step onto the gravel was deliberate, measured. The two-man carry demanded precision, and neither faltered. Mud took it in, noting the taut focus etched across their faces, the quiet rhythm of careful steps, and the low scrape of leather-soled boots against gravel. Even amid medical urgency, this was methodical, disciplined. Two voices cut across the gravel from the driver's side of the van. "Oi, prima, entra!" Diamond, Diego Alvarez on his retired military ID, rapped the vehicle's metal side to get Spur's attention. Mud's chest tightened with pride. The drive and courage the younger man carried every day reminded him of Maine, the night Diamond helped Team Alpha shut down a trafficking ring. Human then, blind to the existence of werewolves, he'd seen Spur shift and hadn't hesitated, just tore in beside her to break the cage, freeing the trapped werewolf women. Even after the attack that turned him, Diamond hadn't slowed his outreach to wolves in need. The passenger door opened, snapping Mud out of the memory. Torch stood on the sill, flame-colored hair catching a flash of sunlight as he leaned on the frame. "You two planning to get a room over there, or are we waiting for the popcorn?" He called over his shoulder, cocky grin plastered in place before dropping to the ground. Spur's curse from the far side drew a hearty chuckle from the Irishman. He strode to the rear, closing on Lockjaw and two female operatives. He was halfway to a new wisecrack when Spur rounded the van, bristling at the jab, coming for him hard. Before either could escalate, Mud barked, "You two, inside! Get checked out!" The operatives startled, trading sharp side-eye, but not backing down. Torch muttered something low, needling, and Spur lunged a step closer. "I said now!" Mud's voice cracked. He caught Lockjaw's gaze, one leader to another, and a slight shake of the head passed between them. Mud gave a short nod toward the van. "You know what to do, brother." "Aye, brother, we'll get 'em handled." Lockjaw turned and took command of the scene. Mud pivoted, turning back to the crew cab, but not before catching Lockjaw directing the women, shorter Caitlin McCourt and lithe Juno Walsh, to their tasks. "Viper, you and Diamond start with the bodies. Line them up against the wall. We ain't taking them inside until the dock is ready. Spectre, you and me are going to get the gear to the armory." "Got it, boss." Walsh, Spectre, was already at the sliding door, hands on the first crate. Mud stopped. Axel sat stiff behind the wheel, knuckles white in a death grip. Brendan Rook Mallory, Team Beta's driver and second in command, had his fingers wrapped around the handle. "Come on, Axel. Get out and give me the keys." Rook cajoled. Axel shrugged one shoulder and half growled. "Not happening. Nobody drives my truck." She flexed her fingers, then wrapped them tighter. "Why do you always assume the worst?" Rook snapped, frustration bleeding through. "Can't you just trust me for once?" "Rook'll take it," Mud cut in, short, final. Axel stared for a beat, then with a theatrical sigh, pulled the keys from the ignition and yanked the door. She slapped them into Rook's gloved palm. Fine. Scratch her and you're dead, she warned with a smile gone brittle. Rook allowed the barest smirk and swung into the seat. Mud watched Axel move toward the intake corridor, jaw hard, but she moved. Mud followed but pulled back, turning to gaze at the lot. The area already felt smaller, the vehicles parked like sentries, figures moving to and fro, the east wing doors yawning open to swallow them in. No fanfare, no flash. For the moment, everything was contained. Gravel swept clean to the foliage line, the lawn beyond manicured, and the east gate sealing itself behind them like a mouth closing. This can't be a mistake, he muttered. It shouldn't have gotten this far.
Issy, I was promised a boring story. What the fuck was that? That was not boring.
Exactly.
Also, I actually could follow it very well, despite the plethora of characters. I could follow it very well. So that was very well orchestrated. What the fuck? Also, wolves again! Wolves is the theme! Be they literal wolves, werewolves, figurative lone wolves who are hanging out in bars. Wolves are the nice theme.
Yep.
Ow! There we go. Introducing 14 new characters.
I want to know where this is going.
Right?
Oh, I know where it's going.
Oh, I know you do.
Oh, okay. For those who need a catch up, Mud and Plumber was formerly known as Mario Gutierrez, where Mud was asking if Mario's sister, Luisa, started life out as Luigi. Not that he'd care, because she's hot and sweet as pie. So this is the team that was playing cleanup at Callum's house. Callum Connors, one of the werewolves, the rich bitches, where he dropped 4 bodies after the clock struck midnight. They just went and
this was.
right. So the 4 bodies in the back of the van are the 4 bodies that were there to infect Callum with bright green trank darts, but Callum killed all 4 of them. So
also known as party favors and Jello shots.
Yep, Jello shots. But on the way back, on an hour-and-a-half drive, okay, on the way back from Seattle to Skycomish, Plumber started sweating and getting real sick and pale, which is kind of hard for a dark-skinned Mexican. But, So, yes, this is the one with the nanny and the kids and the half-brother and the Indonesia trip. Really super intricate and too many fucking characters, which are now detailed in a notebook because I have to keep them straight.
Yep.
I have a whole file filled with characters. Every character that gets mentioned, even if it's just by name and they haven't done anything, has a file.
No, I know. Each of these characters has a file in my Scrivener, but that's not enough to help me keep them straight. I had to also write them down.
Yeah.
I see.
And I had to keep creating characters because I couldn't have any of the already named characters doing something because they were otherwise occupied at the same time that this was going down. So anyway.
And unfortunately, he tried to do that at the beginning of that scene.
Uh-huh.
And that's how we led into this.
Thus, all of the freaking. That's how Vex got created, and Lockjaw, and Spur, and Diamond, and Torch, and. I really don't know why Mud decided it would be a smart thing to put the Latina Spitfire and the Irish flamethrower in the same van when they're always at each other's throats. But,
Kept
whatever.
them out of his hair.
Yeah, but if they get into an argument behind the wheel and cause an accident, and then the cops get called because there's this accident, and there's 4 dead bodies in the back of the van.
Yeah. That makes it even better. More suspense.
Yeah, I don't see them talking their way off that one.
I don't either. Thank God they got behind the gates of Thistledown.
So, I mean, if she had a if she had a rack on her, she might be able to talk herself out of death at this point. It's like
I don't know. I can't wait though. Here's the problem, right? As I was creating these, I started rabbit holing and creating backstories for each of them. So some of these backstories are really freaking like how they came to be part of it.
you got to see a taste of that with Diamond.
Yes, I did want to bring that in a little bit in this one. But some of these backgrounds are as detailed as Crawford's, where he's sitting there telling Phillips all about how the Connors killed his dad, his grandpa, and his uncles, but kept him alive. And now he works for him. So, thank you. I mean, I tried to vary the introductions and not put it as a dossier, and
I think you did pretty well there.
thank you. Because that's what I've been working on for the last 2 fucking days. And I'm still not happy with it. I modified as I was reading.
The books unpublished.
I know. No, there's a level of not happy, but it is what it is. Like once it's published, that level, I'm nowhere there. But if I don't watch it, that whole scene was going to become its own chapter. But it follows the lab scene, like immediately following, that I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just FYI, this is how I cut these cards for something, and they're very precise dimensions. I don't remember what I cut them for.
Well, the moment you use them for something, you'll remember what the intended use was.
I remember why you cut them.
I know it had something to do with TBR.
They're for the clue game. They're for the clue game.
No, they're not.
Okay. Are they for the black cats?
Nope. Black cats are already printed, and I have playing card stock for the clue game. But with how this is, with the I'm thinking it might have been for the Indiana Jones Chutes and Ladders.
Could very well be.
But I don't know what.
All right.
Oh! No, we are not, because and Leon says that it's lagging again. Because of course it is. Hopefully we're going to get that fixed by next week. I got to open the file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I know who we're reading.
Wait! Before we roll, since this will be the first prompt for October.
This was where I was. That's why I said, "Are we ready?" I didn't say ready to roll. I just said ready.
I heard the dice.
I heard him too.
Yeah.
I'm playing with them in hopes that they won't screw us over today. Uh, but Izzy, would you like to tell them what our October thing is going to be?
Okay. So here's our idea. Some of our regulars who have been with us for over a year know about Harvest the Words. Harvest the Words is how we started getting on the theme. We started to realize, hey, you don't have to start a whole new project with every single prompt. Work it into the one you're already working on. So anyway, we decided with the spooky season upon us, for those who enjoy all the different world traditions regarding the end of the end of October, we're going to do something called Plotoween. So we all have a really good habit of coming up with good main plots, right? But what about the B story? What about the C story? So the idea of Plotoween is every week work more on your subplot that pushes your main plot forward. Dun dun dun. So there we go. Try to build out and make your stories more in depth with working on your details for your B story or C story or some subplot that helps push your main plot forward. We have a graphic and everything. So keep that in mind as we roll up this week's prompt choices.
I mean, I'm probably gonna stick with the short stories, but I am definitely doing all spooky themed. This was just a warm up.
Hey, there you go. And again, it doesn't have to be a brand new story that you come up with. It could be one that you're already existing. You know, on top of that, there are minor plots that almost never get solved in short stories.
Yeah.
Especially the spooky ones. So, just taking a little gander of if you do have a subplot that you're not sure how you want to keep going with it.
Exactly.
Vote accordingly to go, oh, this might help me further that. So here we go. Roll number 1.
$75.
Reroll.
$6.
Bit of a difference.
I don't care what gets picked. I'm pretty sure one of our horror people will pick this one up.
And do tell.
I have to copy paste get to where I need to be. There we go. By the way, next week is episode 40. Episode 40 of the year. Holy crap. All right. Write about a character who is being followed by a stranger, but they don't know why. What is the stranger's true motive?
$19.
119. A person is assigned a perfect job by the government, but it's the last thing they want to do. What happens when they refuse the assignment?
Ooh.
They have somebody following their asses from the first prompt. Sorry. Just playing that one in. $34.
Okay, this is a finish. Finish the sentence. As the policeman pulled back the sheet, she knew immediately that
She was not making it home for dinner.
Read it one more time.
as the policeman pulled back the sheet, she knew immediately that
She
Yeah,
was
she
going
wouldn't
to
make it
lose
home
her
for dinner.
lunch.
$68.
by the time the bell tower chimed midnight, the bridge was already empty.
What the Headless Horseman immediately come to mind?
See, you go Headless Horseman, I go Jack the Ripper. But either or, yeah. $39. I think that's a reroll.
You said 30, what?
39.
39.
Use this dialogue. I'm tired of running, he said, slumping against the wall. It's time to face the music.
Two.
What was the roll? Sorry.
Two.
102.
Very finicky tonight.
It's not that they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're not like their usual, like, oh, we're gonna roll the same damn number 500 times in a night.
All right, last but not least, use this dialogue. I thought you'd be happy to see me, she said with a wry smile. Why the long face?
That's horrifying.
Joker vibes. All right. Izzy, one more time.
Hold your horses. Why the long face?
I keep refreshing the main writing page to make sure that the guy I'm wanting to rate out to is still online. He's only been streaming for 40 minutes, so I think it's a good one to go to. He's reading bedtime stories.
Ooh.
Okay. You know
What
who
he's
I haven't
reading
seen on
is
this
The
in a
Murder
few
of
weeks?
Roger Ackroyd.
Huh. You know who I haven't seen on
Agatha Christie.
Do what?
The story, the Murder of Roger Ackroyd. It's an Agatha Christie story.
That I did a whole collage book review and presentation for in 11th grade.
You see why I'm excited to rate out to this guy.
I'm
gonna be following him once we're in there too. He's kind of pretty.
Sure. What? Oh, you'll make sure I get it done this week. Okay. Okay.
I'm off Monday and Tuesday. I can come over and be a bug.
All right.
All right,
vote.
I want number 4. I want the bridge. I want number 4.
Okay. So numbers in the chat.
I'm going to say 4.
I mean, technically, I already did number 1.
You did
with the
do
chapter
number 1 already.
That bridge is so intriguing.
Let me reread these again here. 1. Write about a character who is being followed by a stranger, but they don't know why. What is the stranger's true motive? Number 2, concept. A person is assigned a perfect job by the government, but it's the last thing they want to do. What happens when they refuse the assignment? I'm scared to see what Kane would do with that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I'm interrupting myself in the whole reading of them out loud, but having known him for 30 years, he's got stories in there. Number 3, start line. As the policeman pulled back the sheet, she knew immediately that finish the line. Number 4, by the time the bell tower chimed midnight, the bridge was already empty. Number 5, dialogue. I'm tired of running, he said, slumping against the wall. It's time to face the music. Number 6, I thought you'd be happy to see me, she said with a wry smile. Why the long face?
We've got a tie right now because Kesh and I voted for 4, and Leon and Trisha voted for 5.
I love how Izzy read that last one, though. But I'm sticking with 4.
I really want to write that bridge.
Yeah, I'm kind of like with you there. That or 3 have got my brain going. But
yeah, both the starting lines are really cool.
Yeah.
All right, we got a 3-way tie now because Kane wanted 6. You two need to start voting.
I know. I'm trying to decide.
Okay, now we got 3 for 5. Leon voted for 5.
No, Leon already voted. Leon was already the second vote.
He's just making some suggestions on how he wants it written. What he wants to see. A piano monster.
Yeah, we got 6, 5, 4, 5, 6. I don't know.
I voted for 4 as well. I have the message already typed out, so I don't want to erase it to.
Okay, 4.
Yeah.
So we got 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s.
And no, we're not doing all 3. Y'all have to pick.
I mean, Julie gets the overriding power there.
It's a cop out.
Only see, the whole thing is for mine, if I'm voting for what would work for my story, that could be either 5 or 6. More than likely, regardless of which ones get chosen, both of them will end up in the frickin' story.
Yeah.
As we do. AZ votes 4.
And my girl.
She just doesn't want me showing up on her doorstep.
No, it's not that. It's like we were all talking and everything, and I kept reading them, and I was starting to get overload. It's been a very long week, right? So I had to pull it off, and I read them again, and I know which subplot that this will work for. Now I just have to. Leon, I might be messaging you privately.
She has French she needs help with.
Not necessarily French. France that I might need help with.
Yeah, cause I can't help with France. I can help with Quebecois. I can't help with France.
Right. Oh, and Deathhead's rating us. Hello. There's a 5-minute delay.
Yeah.
Up,
Dahlia!
Yes.
All right, then there's no need for me to vote.
I love how Dahlia shows up just in the nick of time to quench that victory.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 4 had already won. It was down to my vote.
They clinched it.
Now
That's
I don't
what I'm
have to vote.
saying. She clinched it for us 4s.
So
There we go. All right. So we're looking at use this starting first line. By the time the bell tower chimed midnight, the bridge was already empty.
I'm so
now,
excited.
I do want to also make mention, just because it's called a starting first line does not mean that it's going to wind up being the first line in your submission. The number of times that's where I started and then went, ooh, I just realized what happens right before then. And I go back up and add some more in. Bingo, bango, Bob's your uncle.
We interpret it more as this is the starting line that starts your writing kind of thing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're so loosey-goosey around here. Goose. It's just the, no, not 2 for 4.
He's probably really delayed.
Yeah, he's delayed. But the whole point of it is to spark writing. Spark your writing, spark your passion, get an idea, get it on paper. We don't care how rough draft it is, because what we're looking for is concept. We're looking for you to actually enjoy the process. Don't think it has to be a finished work of art. If it helps you get closer to your finished work of art, then by all means. But there we go. Yes, that is correct. Patrick is counting in there, even though he's seeing us delayed, just like everybody else. Anyway, that's all she wrote for the prompts, the whatever. And I also severely apologize for